I'm live. Okay, so personally, I haven't done a lot of research into the Epstein files. I always had, no doubt any of this was taking place. And as somebody who was 16, 17, 18 years old in Florida, particularly southeast Florida, um, it was something I honestly kind of avoided because it brought up bad memories. But this isn't about me. I wish I had a computer and internet and could look into these files, which a lot of people say things like it's nothing that hasn't been released before, or it's not that much that hasn't been released before. But clearly, there are some smaller YouTubers. Now, I'm going to make a post that with because I found several, maybe I shouldn't say several. I found a few good YouTubers that are truly independent journalists. I don't know if they themselves would say that about themselves, but these people are doing the footwork. It's people like them who are uncovering the details that then the bigger YouTubers decide if it's safe enough or not to report on, and they go and report on it if so. And I'm not faulting them for it. Like to each their own. If I was in their position, I bet I would do the same thing. So I'm not saying that they're bad people for it. I'm just saying the people that get so many views, and not everybody, like Baron Coleman, is that his name? I think so. Baron Coleman, he gets hundreds of thousands of views, and they are well deserved. He's somebody that is not a smaller YouTube. He's the only person I can think of that is that large with that kind of numbers. Is covering. He's doing Charlie Kirk stuff, but uh basically, once you're too big to fail, you're too big to really say much. Hi, Michigander. How are you? This passage from the Bible, I've seen it brought up a lot in regards to somebody else I talk about a lot. Matthew 18:6. But whoso shall cause one of these little ones who believe in me to fall, it were better for him that a millstone were hung around his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. So I'm cool, Caleb. I changed my name. Oh, thank you for letting me know, Michigander. How are you doing? How was your Christmas? I think I saw you on Christmas Day, right? Maybe not. So okay, I bring up that passage because it I feel like we're a nation of majority Christians. That's 60% or so. Like most people are Christian. We aren't a Christian nation, no. But especially the places I know not everybody lives in a small town Kentucky. There's a church every mile, even in the country where there's hardly any houses and mostly fields of cows and crops. There's still churches every mile. There's so many churches. And I've just like gone through and I appreciate you that are practicing Christians for tolerating me and being there for me. And there know there's good Christians. I do not mean that like I think ill of all Christians, but it's just so interesting to me the way that all of this is playing out in front of our faces in a nation that considers themselves so Christian. Christian said, I feel bad because there's two people watching, so I'm watching. Oh, Christian, I don't know what you mean. I think there's 21 people now. So I'm going to try to get through my notes. So I'm not getting in the chat a lot. I know that that's difficult for people who are listening on the replay, and I do want to get in the chat. But unfortunately, the divide and conquer between religions, race, gender, sexual preferences, even, has seemingly worked well enough to ensure the real evil misdeeds are either unbelievable or covered up entirely according to mainstream media, and therefore a lot of the people that consume it. I know that there's a lot of people that don't consume nothing but mainstream media, but I mean, the people that believe in it above all else. Everything else is fake, literally everything is fake. And uh I keep noticing pizza in the gates. I'm just going to say it like that. Pizza in the gates keeps getting brought up in regards to what is going on and try to use as a gotcha moment from the left versus the right. And I would like for somebody who feels that way to explain it to me. Clearly, these same people or they have to know. It's said, it's a fact that Epstein was a part of a ring that obviously helped affluent people get access to and able to take advantage of minors, of small children. Megyn Kelly, small children, supposedly. There were so many pictures where there's children that are well under teenage age. You can tell even just by, a knee to a leg or like a latter part of a leg. I mean, like, there's a few pictures where Epstein is holding a child in his lap and parent, like you can't make any excuses for it. No excuse to be made for this. And I almost feel like Pizza in the Gates was brought up like to use during this time as a there wasn't a basement in Comet Pizza. Does that negate everything else that came out? Does that mean that all the weird art or the podestas that's okay and that's not creepy as hell and a huge major red flag? And once again, it's like my trailer theory. Anybody living in a single wide trailer with art like that on their walls, it'd be obvious, right? But for some reason, when it's a mansion and it's a decapitated, contorted sculpture of a body, like, it's okay if you're rich enough. It's art. It's not like it's so diluted how people are when it comes to wealth and rich people. And this just showcases all of that. So many people want to bring up the pizza and the gates. Okay, there's no basement in Comet Pizza. Can we move on? Do you think that that means that none of the other things were true at all? Do you read like a lot of people think that the WikiLeaks emails are just plain old fake and just completely made up. I think that's how they think of all of this. But regardless, Epstein is there, and it is proof that there is such thing as the people that a lot of you worship. And I shouldn't say you. I don't like saying that because then I feel like I'm coming off like patronizing the audience. A lot of these people that can't seem to get off of the pizza in the gate subject, they they know that Epstein is a thing. So I don't know why the pizza in the gates keeps getting brought up. Then there are people on the right who know and believe in certain things. They know that this is true, but they're never going to believe it about Trump. And once again, Trump. Once again, I wanted Trump to win. I was one of those people who were fooled by Trump. I can admit it. I thought that he was different because he wasn't a typical politician. I really did think that he was going to make some changes. And on 5 years ago, when he became a pharma sales representative for the brand new novel medicine that had yet to be tested on anybody, and like a brand new novel kind of novel that works using it, manipulating your mRNA. No, thank you. No, I'm not an expert. I'm not giving any medical advice, but that led to lots of great disappointment for him. I still looked at him as the lesser of two evils this last time around. And I do feel like there's possibly some manipulation. Like I just the whole system has completely disillusioned me. I think they're more alike than different. And I'm trying to stop myself from saying I lean to the right, but I want to be honest with people. I want to be honest because I feel like those of us that are walking the same path, like that's what I want to do is like walk along the same path with the people that are like-minded in a lot of ways, but not always 100%. And that's where a lot of people fall off. They think that if somebody says one thing they don't really like, I mean, you have to like say a lot or like support the no country. Um, for me to unfollow. But anyways, we all have our things that, are going to be different for everybody else. It's just amazing how the Trump derangement syndrome has turned into, thank you, La Savage Gaming. I'll get into the chat soon. I'm already through one third of my notes, but so the Trump derangement syndrome is, I never thought I'd be saying this, but it's like the people who are the most deranged. The post he made about Rob Reiner's death and him talking like like, I'm sorry, this goes beyond when he said grab him by the you know what. I looked at that like I'd rather have an honest a-hole than like, the opposite. I was tired of the politician that said what you wanted to hear and was like, try to play the perfect husband, perfect role in every way, but at the same time, this was overcorrection, and now I see it. I can admit it, like, it was wrong. I was wrong, but I still think that it was a controlled demolition. It was going to happen regardless. There's many countries. Albania as the first country to talk about next year, I think, implementing AI government, something about AI in their government, because in my opinion, this is where this is going to lead. And I didn't come up with this on my own. Okay. Like I saw other people talk about it. This is so like the people are going to see the corruption, and then people are going to see the need for like a complete change. Like somebody else needs to come and step in. This is too much, too many people, literally everybody. This is what is so hard to grasp is people, because we're not like that. The average person, we don't operate like that. So it's really hard to actually get your mind around. Hi, 123 Chris. How are you? I am reading my notes about Epstein. All we have today was already around decades ago. Yeah, well, thoughts on John Benet Ramsey? Oh, Stone Papa Smurf. I think that that happened inside the home and they covered it up. I don't know if it was her, my opinion, allegedly. I don't know if it was her brother or something else, but it is also interesting that there is that Fox Island in Lake Michigan, which is known to have had a lot of and I just think as soon as I heard about Fox Island, I was like, they were like getting ready to fly to their Michigan cabin or whatever in the preceding day of the John Benet Ramsey case. And I just thought about him. So yeah, I wouldn't put, oh, hey, Acid Burn, how are you? Um, I think Patsy wrote the note. Definitely stoned Papa Smurf. I do too. And once again, if they lived in a trailer, that wouldn't have went down that way. But they did. I'm sorry. I'm losing the. They were indicted, right? The grand jury wanted to indict them, but they weren't. Um. Oh, thank you, Acid Burn. Thank you for the $2. Um. Excuse me. Okay, so the people that are in denial about Trump, he will always be the good businessman who doesn't drink, smoke, or do drugs. And because he's hypnotized them for over a decade with the same sentiments and the same ways, he's like a part of their dysfunctional family now. We all have them. Like every family is dysfunctional in their own way. And so it gets to the point where you almost feel closer to somebody. Like I'm not really talking about trauma bonding. I don't know, maybe I am, but like he is somebody like people, the way that I'm sorry to you if you're a Trump supporter. I don't mean this necessarily unless like you really, but like it's just so incredibly disturbing. I can't even see the pictures of him with his own daughter kissing him on the cheek without feeling gross. And it's like I didn't used to feel that way about him. Now it's undeniable. I don't want to like insult anybody, but I just don't see how you couldn't see it. He's talking to an 8-year-old on the phone. The first thing he says, just this past Christmas Day, you sound beautiful and cute or whatever. And it's like the Biden stuff. That's one, like, remember how Biden used to act with children? If you don't, and you might not be able to look it up because it's like they scrubbed all that shit from the internet. When he was, before he ran for president, it was all over the place. It was very easy to find it. And I remember I was thinking about making a video about it. And then it's like, I made a video about like the night that Biden won and like how it was like the night before he was at the same car lot with a bunch of brand new Jeeps. And then like the next night, it was like the same Jeeps in a different configuration. It was so weird. It was like in my opinion, it was staged. Like there weren't enough people to go see Biden, even as he is like actively running for president. We're getting ready to hear any minute now. And like it was like it's I, once again, if you have like a big enough channel, you're not going to be as liable to be the first one to call out certain things. And that's what is so great about YouTube. That's what's so nice about so many people being able to put their work on YouTube, and you can find the people that are for the information. And I'm sorry, because I just found this girl today. I make a post. There's one girl in particular. I'm sorry, I shouldn't call her. She's a woman, and she made a lot of Epstein. She's digging into the Epstein files. I've seen nobody else dig into this stuff like her, and it's something that when I made my title. And I know I'm like sitting here going on and on about Trump when I know there's probably some of you that do support him. And I hope that I am proven wrong. I sincerely hope I'm proven wrong. I mean it. But Acid Burn sent one membership to the Dias cast. That's nice, Acid Burn. Thank you so much. I just had a members only live for like 15 minutes. I need to be better about my members only. Hey, Mr. Carey, how are you? Okay. Anyways, okay, I already said that. We can agree Comet Pizza doesn't have a basement. I don't know where I don't wanna be like that and say the leftists or something like divide and conquer even more, but, um so the owner's social media was concerning. If you aren't aware of it, I'm sure there's still pieces that have covered it out there. It was post after post. This isn't an opinion by anybody's standards. They were inappropriate things. And a lot of it involved like children was more innuendos, but there was like straight up like pornographic material on that man's social media. And then the art, like Podesta's art. This is something that one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims is on here on an interview. She said she was an artist, and often when you're not a very well-known artist, it might take years even for a client to build a relationship with you and buy some of your art from you. And so, of course, like, and I'm not saying this about this woman. I know there's genuinely people that are out there making art, um, and good for them. I think that's awesome. But it's obvious, in my opinion, this is how money laundering is taking place often. And there's even like a email in the Epstein files where he was talking about somebody buying a piece of art that was valued at 1.5 million for 450 million. And it just makes you sick. It makes me sick when you think about how much money is floating around and how these people that have hundreds of millions of dollars, if they just picked 100 people out from their town or nearby, that were like lower class, middle class, excuse me, people, and gave them $1 million, they could like drastically change 100 people's lives. And I know when people win the lottery, they tend not to be excuse me. If people really genuinely cared, they could help people with financial advisors. They could be like, hey, I'm going to give you $1 million, but this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to give it to you, $100,000 a year for 5 years. And then there's like this account with $500,000 you have to do. And it's just like they don't care to do, they don't have fun serving their community and helping other people. They just get greedier and greedier. And then they just want to give other rich people money. And like their biggest problem in life is finding out how to move around their money and make their money look legit. Meanwhile, the rest of us, the most of us, we're just trying to make enough money so we can eat and keep our freaking heat on. And it's maddening. And I'm gonna it, uh warning, I'm sorry, I didn't put any like this is adult audiences only, and I really don't want to make anybody mad, but I'm gonna say I think Candace Owens is here to breadcrumb and distract. And, like the way that she breadcrumbs, man. If that's your style and you are okay with it, then good for you. Go like indulge in it all you want. But she doesn't say anything that somebody else hasn't like literally brought to her and said. And then like I feel like this whole Fort Huachuca or whatever, this Mitch Snow guy story, it's been verified at this point, right? I feel like it's a distraction. How long are we going to talk about this one? And I'm not saying it's not important, but can we talk about other things in the meantime while it's being verified? I just feel like it is such a distraction. And I know that Candace has done a lot of work on Epstein, and I need to watch her videos on Epstein. I saw she has a playlist of 10, and I was like, I want to see what she has to say because now I'm doing research. I didn't do research until this past week. Hi, 123 Chris. I'm trying to say hi to the members. Hi, Diamond. How are you? $1 million. Oh my gosh. Could you? And it's just like, I know when you hear that $450 million on something to hang on your wall, how many people's lives could you change with that? But that's not even a thought because that's part of what they get off on, having like so much more than other people. It has to be. And I'm not talking about just wealthy people. And I'm not talking about people that are like millionaires. I mean, the top 1%. The people that have as much wealth is like the bottom 50% of us. You can't siphon everything off of the rest of us. At a certain point, it is like plain unsustainable. And I feel like that's what we're getting to. And all these distractions are leading up to um, when the cookie really crumbles. I don't know how to say it. There are many people doing really good investigative work. Once again, I am going to make a good post about it. And I don't blame anybody for playing it safe. I really don't. But they end up elevating their lives, maybe even to the point where they're buying art for millions of dollars. And that's kind of the thing too, which like I have problems saying because I don't want to come off as like I'm trying to divide and conquer people, but like I don't think anybody that I'm talking about is watching me or would ever go near my content. They would consider me like a peasant, less than, they wouldn't like touch me. But we just need to be aware of how these people function. And I already said the elite's biggest problem seems to be finding ways to move around their money. I am almost, well, I have like one more page. Art seems to be a method of laundering. And yeah, after 4 decades almost, I'm 38 years old. Oh, hey, Fendi. Hey, Bill. I've learned that like most people are good. Like in my opinion, I do believe that might sound naive, but I really do feel like we everything would have gotten way worse if it wasn't already so. Like most people are good. We are stressed out by the unnatural systems we're forced to live in, but most people want the same thing, and that's just a comfortable home. Is my camera blurry to anybody else? Can somebody tell me if my camera's blurry? Because it doesn't look blurry to me. You're 38 too, cool, neutral. Okay. I think your screen is blurry, acid burn. Um, we just want safe, affordable. That too. I put comfortable, but affordable, yes. Safe, comfortable, affordable homes, food to eat, somewhat of a future for ourselves. That would be nice. And our family, if we have one. And the greed and desires of some of those at top are unfathomable. And even when there's proof, there is also so much propaganda put out to make anyone who considers the proof seem like the crazy one. Or like this is one that like there was something that was in the, oh my gosh, it was so disturbing, these emails. And it was somebody who was a grandmother and she was talking about her grandson and like showed a picture of him in the bath, and it was like borderline, she's like talking about him luxuriating, and it was just weird and creepy. And I'm not doing it justice. I can't even. And then she turned it around on the people that were like, why would you post this? This is wrong. Don't post this. Of you completely nude picture of him. And she was like, you're the one who's wrong for thinking that. I can't stand that. In my whole life, that's what it's been. And I feel like we're at the breaking point now where we can stop as a society. No, there's no excuse. There is never any excuse ever. And everybody needs to have that attitude towards the little ones. And for so long, it's been focused on like the teenage girls. Like Megan Kelly said that it wasn't really little kids, it was mostly teenagers. And like, so we all, look down on women, basically. Most people do, men and women are so much internalized misogyny. It really helps look at the, bratty teenagers. We often stereotype young women as being and like not care as much. And it's just apparent. There's this victim who was 14 years old when she started to see Epstein, and he groomed her, and he gave her a few $100s every time she saw him the first several times until he raped her. And the way that people talked in that comment section, she was 14 years old. And they're like, she knew what she was doing. She wanted it. She kept going back for more. She knew what was going to happen. And just to take the accountability completely off of the man who was two, three times older than her, maybe even more than that at this point, I don't know. This is why the patriarchy is a thing. You put the elite men, the men up at the top, and then everybody worships them so much because all they want is to be them or to be as close to them as possible. And that's how we get here. Uh, I can't get over what Megyn Kelly said, and I wish I don't watch her, but if she did say something about that, I hope it would be something somebody I watch would cover. If she went back and said, wow, okay, there's proof there was a lot of male victims, and we don't talk about that hardly too. That's what I'm saying. They zero in on the females on purpose, and it's wrong. Definitely young boys, children were a part of this. There was at least one picture that I saw, and I just don't know why that's not acknowledged more. When it comes to black magic, satanic ritual type. This is just what I've heard. I don't know this for a fact, but like they are focused on like sex magic focuses on virgins often, or so the greatest power one can get supposedly is by rituals involving a virgin ideally, or whatever. More power comes from a boy, if you didn't know that. So it's just like there's so many reasons why like everybody should be concerned about this. And the organ procurement organizations, I made a video about how in Richmond, Kentucky, there was a man who woke up so many times from getting ready to get his organs cut out of him because he was supposedly brain dead, that the surgeon was like, I can't do this. And if you haven't heard that story, it started a national investigation where it's disturbing how much that happens. And I'm not giving any medical advice, but everybody should be aware of that. It is so disturbing. They just had a hearing a few days ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I saw it was on C-SPAN. That They did this in like literally a day or two before Christmas." And the man that was a doctor speaking said that everybody should hear this and know this information, and I completely agree with him. These it shouldn't have ever been a thing where it's so profitable, and they even had like 700 pancreases just sitting on shelves doing nothing to them. Like people donated organs that because of some loophole, some tax loophole, they'll just like let some organs sit there and just be frozen and sit there. They're not usable maybe for research or something. But you know what I mean? They can't be put into a person after they've been sitting in a freezer forever. I'm sorry, you guys. I really am. I'm just trying to get through my notes. The propaganda to make anybody look crazy. I swear the pizza and the Gates thing, like they did all of that. The it was a bizarro story how that guy came and supposedly, I mean, he did, he used a GUN, and thankfully nobody was hurt. And then like therefore that makes everybody who was suspicious of anything involving pizza and the Gates all the evidence, the oodles of evidence. Like there was so much as far as Instagram posts, and this was years ago. What was it, 2017 when this came out? This was well before AI. I remember seeing it with my own two eyes and being like, This is so sick," because you're aware that there's bad things that happen, and like Johnny Gosh, the America's Most Wanted, or his dad started one of those shows because he was kidnapped from his paper route as a 12-year-old boy, I believe. And it is thought, a lot of people speculate that it might have been part of some kind of ring. There's a lot of missing children from the like near vicinity of Epstein's New Mexico ranch, supposedly. There's so many things that aren't really being looked into that should. That like, why is nobody in jail for this besides Ghislaine Maxwell? They speculate he had 10 co-conspirators at least. Why was it just him and Ghislaine Maxwell that faced, and there was immunity granted to people who worked for him in the 2008 or 9 court cases. And it even has this clause where it's like they can just name people. Like that, I don't even understand how that can be a thing. How like we can just choose that you do fall into this category at a later period in time. Like, okay. And Ghislaine tried to use that when she like was just sentenced to 20 years, but it didn't work out for her. There's so many pictures with little kids. That's so disturbing. And from what I've seen from researching more, and Whitney Webb, she's a really good investigative journalist. She said Jeffrey Epstein is the financial terrorist. He has his hands in so many, he had his hands, whatever. And people even speculate he had something to do with the 2008 housing crash, the mortgage crisis. It's just insane. And these people are so influential. And let me see. Marina Abramovich, for some reason, I wanted to bring her up. She's like, calls herself a performance artist, but obviously she's a witch. And this was also something that was brought up a lot in WikiLeaks emails. I mean, you can call it's part of the satanic rituals is them putting it in our faces and doing it right in front of everybody. The more attention, the better. In my opinion, she's totally a witch, and they're all connected. All these elite people, Hollyweird. There's a lot of money in that industry. There's a lot of money in politics. Now you become a millionaire as long as you serve your state for a few decades. In like, you think of tech, oil, medical, like all these industries, they're literally who runs our country. We don't have a government. It's the corporations, the entertainers, and those they associate with. Sometimes they put it right in front of our faces, especially, I meant to say, like, the entertainers are who really bring it forth, and like that's, in my opinion, a lot of the elite. Not all of them. I know there's always going to be exceptions, but I just think that if this wasn't the case, that most wealthy people turn into this, then the world would be a different place. I think it would be better. I don't think there would be as many people starving to death. I don't think there would be people taking advantage of people needing a place to live. Meaning, I just think housing is ridiculous. And it seems to be commonplace among elite people, especially public figures, to make a pastime out of buying people, even hanging out with other people who buy people, because it's part of feeling that you are upper class to them, untouchable, or in proximity to the untouchable. Once you have excess wealth, you need more than monetary means to bring the same joy. Perhaps it's never going, I already said this, it's never going to be to serve others or your community, actually help people out. It's always going to be to lord your power over others. And it seems to be having power over others is preferred. And some studies have shown CEOs are is likely to be a psychopath as prison inmates. That is, 1 out of 5 are psychopaths. I'm almost done with my notes. And a lot of people say they're not psychopaths. They wouldn't be diagnosed as clinical psychopaths. They just have psychopathic traits. I think the same could be said about a lot of these elite people. I wish I could remember who said it. I listen to so much stuff, but somebody said we need to quit calling them elite and we need to start calling them leeches. And maybe once we like, and I like that, like calling them elite, I feel like that like lends to it. Words do have power. Maybe the few people who rise to the top also lack empathy for their fellow humans. It just makes sense. And it's kind of like the man who medicated his wife in France, and there was like over 50 people went to court because he let them take advantage of her while she was incapacitated and she didn't know it for a long time. And it's like to think of like how many people knew what was going on and didn't say anything. He had to get caught doing upskirt photos before somebody, cop took his phone and looked at it and realized what was going on. How many, like, there was 50 men went to court. There was like a good 20 or 40 more that couldn't be identified. So how many more than that were even that were like a part of these online groups, these underground networks that like prey off of people? And I don't know how these people have the time in the day. That's another thing. Like most of us are just trying to survive, right? And I really do feel like so much of it is. Oh, thank you, Shaquille. Happy New Year to you. It's us versus them. And if people weren't already so divided and conquered and thinking that it was the other person, and I know I've said it plenty of times. I don't like what has happened in the last several years with immigration, but I am not like against immigrants. I don't think that I should be deporting people the way that they have been. And it's just it's so crazy, all the things that are going on when if it wasn't so, I really do feel like people would be coming together. But then I see these people in the comment sections, which there are plenty of people with empathy, don't get me wrong, but there's so many people that just I was in Bowling Green at Lost River Cave. Cool cowboy. Did you like it? If you're still in here. Bill said, I do not have an organ donor on my driver's license. I will never donate my organs because they sell the organs, make a lot of money off of them. Yes, Bill. And from what I've heard, in my opinion, it seems, and oh, see, I feel bad talking about this because if somebody has a loved one that needs an organ, like I don't want to be the one to say somebody shouldn't, but anyways. Smart Bill, same here, Boston said. I say pizza in the gates. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's pizza GATE is the name of them, like, gosh, 8 years ago now. It came out. There was like WikiLeaks where these emails came out, lots of emails between lots of different people, and then people started looking at, I forget his name, the man who owns Comet Pizza, which is a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. Just in my opinion, it's like these people like to show you who they are. It's a great Maya Angelou quote. I think she said, "When somebody shows you who they are, believe them." And that's how it is with these. And like I said earlier, a lot of times it was like for my whole life, when you called out the perverts, people would be like, "You're the perverted one." Ugh, like we need to stop that. Like, she's talking too much. I love it when people tell me I'm talking too much on my YouTube lives. I'm doing good, Tim. Are you still in here? How are you? Happy Monday, Danielle said. Hey, Daniel. Hi, Shaquille. I think I said hi to you already. Free Manson's Shane. Yeah, I think there are a lot of, it's just, see, we are too consumed with surviving. We have to work. Our time is spent like working, eating, sleeping, right? These people have so much time on their hands. Imagine being on vacation all the time. I'd still like to think, I don't think my husband would be wanting to do blood rituals with people. I really don't think that. I don't think I would. But then again, I'm like, well, if you get to that point, and that's why the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, because it seems like it happens so much. I know there's good people out there, and then they're like the exception, right? Like Keanu Reeves, people who are like very uh generous with their wealth. Like everybody knows about them because it's just like, oh, it's so exceptional. And once again, I'm talking about like the most wealthy people. I'm not talking about like upper. There hardly is a middle class anymore anyways. In the sky they don't have to work. Buses for free, toilet paper for free, everything for free, but who's going to pay for it? To boldly go, um I don't know what you mean. Diamond, how are you doing if you're still in here? How are you doing, Diamond? I just like to get through my notes because, like, if there is anybody rewatching the live, it is annoying when people stop and say hi to people. And then I also like off track because bro on money is finding out that any hires ahead of the DII, or they're called other words, they can't do the job to boldly go. Well, I think there's been a lot of bad policies, and a lot of them are. That's one reason I always said I lean to the right. Like I need to quit saying that. It's all the same. But like, there's a lot of cities with democratic policies that are like bad, and I don't look at it as DEI hires. I really don't. Um, I'm not saying that that's wrong all of the time, but I just feel like if somebody is to the point where they're going up for like fire chief, uh, they're probably pretty qualified. Hi, Mike. How are you? I don't do push-ups. I should do push-ups, but not on live. Um, no, mechanic. My left eye is smaller than my other eye, and I've brought that up on my channel like a million times. People are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. I'm looking at Carrie's chat. I wanted to see if you said anything, Carrie. How are you doing, Carrie? Are your kids still out of the house? I love to be scientific, Taz said. Hi, Taz, how are you? My father grew up there in World War II. They wanted to work, they couldn't. They were starving, and there was nothing they could do about it. That's so sad. What are you talking about, grew up there? Are you talking about Kentucky? I'll never forget this one post I read where this person was talking about growing up so poor they ate the leather from their shoes sometimes. And then he ended it with, I really miss those days. I was like, what? They talked about how like there was like one coat between the five kids, and like it was just like the poorest of the poor. And yeah, but they like grew up out in the country with a garden. Good night, Shaquille, if you're still in here. Rock fan says, I look stoned or high on pills. I wish. What about the criminal immigrants? Well, Mugfoot, that's why I don't think that the immigration policies lent to a lot of good things, because I feel like there were probably a lot of like creepy, able-bodied men just walking across the border because they could. Anybody who doesn't believe that, I don't know. I guess they didn't see the same footage I did or whatever. 'Cause my grandma immigrated here from Colombia in the '50s, and during the '90s, if we could have gotten all of our Colombian family over here before they were killed in guerrilla warfare, that would have been great. They weren't all, but a lot of them were. So, um, yeah, I just don't think we can say, we have to at a certain point, and they did this on purpose. They did this because they knew it would absolutely take resources away from whole towns, change the school systems, make it so half or more of the kids in school can't speak English. And you're a racist if you bring up, hey, is this a problem? Like, can any of the kids get good education if it's like that? Like, um, so yeah, it lends to a lot of chaos, but then you're the bad one if you bring it up. I just saw this woman got fired. She was a bus driver and she had a sign on the bus that said, only speak English. But like she could have been nicer about it. And she got fired over it because people were calling it racist. Personally, I understand why she would say, like, she said, I couldn't understand what the kids were saying. I didn't know if they were bullying the other ones, but like, she could have said it differently, and then that is murky territory. So you're like telling kids they can't talk. If that's the only language they know, that's not their fault. It's not their choice to come to this country. But at the same time, I understand it as somebody who's worked in a warehouse where I've heard people, yell on the radio, "Ah," and like it's like, "Ah, what's going on?" Because you can't really communicate with them, but obviously something's going on. Last factory I worked at, the people that worked after me were for the company we were sending the parts to. So they were like check quality work, my work, for the quality, and they didn't know English. And it was really frustrating. I'm sorry, it was. I really were people that could speak English. And I'm sure in most people would. I do have contacts in, and I do have red eyes. I put eyeliner in my waterline yesterday, which it does look really cute, but like even though I removed it before bed, I woke up and my contacts were like gray. So I think I'm gonna throw that out, and then my eyes were a little red. But I didn't put contacts at 7 p.m. Oh, TM, hi. Best place to hide something is in plain sight. Yes, that too. Hi, Kira. Hi, Roger. It's your site. You run the show. I like that to boldly go. I know I'm really all over the place, but the point is, greetings from a third world country, Don Juan on one. LMAO, I let a goalpost moving the left does. It's hilarious. Fence hopping when the idea fits their opinion, which is never original. Yes, Kira. Some people from the right do that too, but I know what you mean. It seems like a lot on the left. And it's just why why would anybody be like, "Ha ha, you thought that was a child pedo ring and you were wrong. Ha ha ha." I don't see why that's like a gotcha moment for anybody. Anyways, um, there was no basement. So what? Don Juan says greetings from Alabama, third world country. I don't know if you've been to certain parts in Kentucky, it really is, and I'm not making fun. Like, we looked at a few places in like Clay County, which there's some beautiful parts too. There's beautiful farms there. I'll never forget this one farm. I was like, this mountain was so steep. I was like looking at the cows, like, how can you even be at the top of that? Like, it was a mountain. It had to have been a mountain. Um, Bye, Shaquille. Good night. If you're still in here, you're probably not. Oh, store. I feel like I'm the foreigner. In the store, acid burn, is that what you mean? Which I don't I don't mind. No pricey. I am married. 15 World War II, my family was middle class. They took everything away and they were starving within 5 years. To hear that, it's like growing up in Italy, so they came to America, they worked hard and they made it, to boldly go said. Yes, that's what used to be the American dream. Now it feels like there's no American dream. The American dream now can only be had by people like Elon Musk. If anybody's gonna stand up for Elon Musk, just know I'm going to go against you. I'm old enough to know what this is all about, young lady. We're running out of chances to fix the country and the world. Oh, to boldly go. So I feel like it's like a controlled demolition. Like things are already toppling down, and Trump is doing a lot of seemingly crazy shit because it was already like our national debt, especially, got so bad in like particularly what like the 5 years leading up, especially, and that's what's really going on. Still here and still doing fine. Oh, Matt, good. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you for sending the high five, Matt. Mount Olivet, was that where there was some guys like Tampon Tim could ruin everything, but all my gang is not going to get any more money? Oh, and another point somebody brought up is like the Republican Party is just pushing Vance so much. Like he is the guy. He's the guy for what is it, 2028? I can't remember. The sun is really messing with your show. Oh, am I lagging? Nobody's complained about it. Your gas prices are down, everything will follow, to Boldly Go says. Diamond, the American dream is over with everyone's just trying to survive and exist now. Yes, it really oh, thank you, Exvion. But it was okay when Potato Joe was emptying the coffers and closed down the oil pipeline from America to Canada to Boldly Go said. Yeah, no, I don't think that it was okay then. If you're asking me, I don't know if you're just commenting or asking, but it's been slowly happening since uh, I would say definitely like 2019-ish, and that's part of like everything happened in 2020 when it did. I'll never forget, Lovely Tea. She might not be your guys' cup of tea, but Lovely Tea is a YouTuber. She's been on YouTube for like 10 years. She was one of the first people I subscribed to in like 2015 or 16 when I started seriously watching YouTube. And she was the first person to tell me about COVID. It was like early December when she brought it up, and I know it, like, came onto the scene more so at the end of December, right? I mean, I know it wasn't until, like, March when shit was, like, shutting down, but it was like we were hearing rumbles of it, and she was like, "This is gonna be a big deal," way a month before anybody else did. So I always remember her for that. And I still watch her. You're a smart girl. I'm asking Trump is trying to fix it. Oh, to boldly go. Yeah, I hope so. I just lost faith in him. It has been lagging not enough for me to say anything yet. Okay, Mr. Kerry, thank you for letting me know. My thing is, why are they ruining it even for their grandchildren? I mean, what's the point? Well, Ray, they're just psychopaths that don't care. I'll never forget my mother-in-law. She was like, I've gotten lots of sleep lately. That's why I had a stream for days. I've been going to sleep at like 8 p.m. And I was like, I need to stop. I need to force myself to stay up, but I didn't really have to force myself. I'll never forget. We were talking about like something to do with like we were at the beach and it had something to do with pollution or something. And my mother-in-law was just like, "Oh, whatever." And I couldn't help it. I was like, what about your grandkids? Like, how can you not think about it? I'm going to be gone soon. She said something like that. She's one of those old people that like I don't know. It's like how they cope with it or something with their mortality, but she talks about how she's gonna be gone soon or when she's gone. Um, anyways, and that was really insightful. We're a boomer, and like a lot of them, they're the kind of people that own like 7 homes in and then send your kid $50 on Christmas, and no one could go to the beach except for the fat New Jersey mayor to boldly go. Thank you for posting that, Mr. Kerry. That's a good one Trump trying to fix, Fendi said. I really do. Hi, Christopher. How are you? And hi, Jack. How are you? Um, okay, Jack. Boomer presidents until the Titanic goes down. Sorry, amigos. Yeah, it's like a 80-year-old. No 80-year-old should be doing any job that's this important. I'm sure you guys have probably seen people speculate he puts like makeup on his hands because he has like bruising and stuff's going on. I couldn't imagine sleep aid diamond. Yes, it's like an antihistamine, and I take that to make sure that I sleep. I'm not recommending that for anybody. I've already been open. I take kratom every day, so when I take that, and then like, yeah, I sleep better if I take the sleep aid, which is an antihistamine. The Titanic was blown up to create the Federal Reserve squeezer. Yes, I have heard that theory. Like JP Morgan, the insurance and stuff, and it's just amazing how some people's biggest problem is moving their money around, just finding ways to make their ill-gotten fortunes look more legit. And then, yeah, melatonin, I don't like how I feel drowsy. Like I have to take so much. The last melatonin we got was kind of a lot of milligrams. I forget. It was like 10 or so. It just seemed like a lot. It's time release, but it makes me groggy. Hi, Tyler. How are you? So yes, there was so many good small YouTubers. I'm going to try alcohol. Oh, Tyler, I have a bladder condition. I would be whenever I did drink like Christmas Eve, and it's so annoying how much I have to get up and pee. It's not even worth it. Hi, Robert. How are you? Yeah, I have to 5 pills before still can go to sleep. Perks, Fendi said. I want to go to a medical marijuana doctor. We found two in our town. I say we, my husband looked it up and there's two in our town. I'm like, it's worth a shot. And maybe I could get something better than these vapes, because if I had something else, I wouldn't, and they aren't good for my throat. And dang diamond, Boston said. Yeah, I think that there's a lot going on with, I've mentioned the Schumann resonance before. Our For almost 10 years now, like it went off the charts. It was like crazy high in 2016, and then it's just continued to do crazy shit since then. I'm sure it's been even higher than that high, but I think that our magnetic, possibly, like our they talk about the poles shifting or just moving a little bit. Like how much would that change? How much? And does it affect people? Uh High THC generally makes pain worse if you're looking for pain relief. Oh, thank you for saying that, Cody. I did not know that. Fendi said like medical grade weed, possibly, or like edibles. Like I'd be open. Hola from Brazil. Oh, that's nice, Paulo. Paulo, how are you? Hola. I have like extreme anxiety sometimes. I think I do pretty good with it, but I bring up all my medical stuff. I had surgery in April, I had a hysterectomy. I still have like nerve pains. I have 3 hernias. So I don't know if they're going to be like, yeah, you just have like random pains from your hernias and stuff. But I'm really going to push the trauma. It's not funny. The um very bad intrusive thoughts, like not like going to hurt myself or somebody, but like very bad anxiety. Like, imagine always thinking about the worst 3 possibilities that could happen in the next 5 seconds. That's like my life some days. But I found ways to help. Um, Come to Cali, you can buy it anywhere, smoke it anywhere. Oh, elk hermit, I would love to if I had tons of money, but I'd like to be able to have something. It'd be really cool to grow it, but I know when you grow hemp, like I don't know, I'm sure you can grow it and have your Second Amendment right? I'm sure there's people that do that. But like it would be so cool to grow a few plants. That would be like a dream come true just because. Skull cap for sleep, Marcy said. Okay, I've never tried that herb before. That's something that I'd like to try. Someone is dancing on the poles and shifting it, Fendi said. Oh, I don't know, Paulo, no hablo Portuguese. I'm sorry. I know you're not even speaking Spanish. I had a brain transplant. They gave me a monkey's brain, minnow min. Um, Ted Nugent died. Are you just saying that, Nivek, or did he really? I think the center of Earth is nickel and it spins every so often. It changes directions and that shifts the magnetic field. They look at rocks and see the sand in the magnetic poles. Oh, that's interesting to believe. Everybody is stressed to the limit nowadays. Yeah. After 911, they say cancer rates skyrocketed because of stress. So can you imagine? And I know they're saying it's so sad that there's a lot going on. And I think it had something to do with the medicine they were forcing on people too. I'm from Kentucky. Thank you, Ezekiel. Want me to bring some plates? Well, it wouldn't work out. I don't know what you mean, FC. Thank you, Adrian. Love and kisses to you. I think that's all you're allowed to grow in Kentucky is 3 plants of MJ. Yeah, Diamond. That's what I was thinking. It was like 2 or 3 for personal use. That'd be plenty. I mean, I'm sure I'd still want to like buy some stuff, but I think I've grown a few medicinal tomatoes. Me too. And peppers. Callie Boss said angels exist. I like to think Trump is making weed a classic. Oh yeah, I did see they're recategorizing it so it's not like so bad. Growing gardens is nice homesteading stuff brings you close to earth. Yes, forest. I agree with that. Come springtime, my channel is going to be a lot more like I still want to talk about stuff like this, but I want to try to incorporate it in the garden. I'm like, I know there's probably people out there doing it, but I haven't seen somebody that like talks like about politics from their garden and in their garden, like updates you with their garden a lot. I want to try to incorporate permaculture philosophy with everyday life and like social and political topics because I do feel like the answer to a lot of what's going on right now, like it is, we're at the end of a cycle and it makes me feel better. I have faith that this cycle has happened before and it will happen again. Pyramid, hey, how are you? Thank you for sending that. But I really do feel like, oh, it was a 6-7 you. Oh, thank you, Jody. That permaculture principles is going to be what helps get us through. Those of us that get through it, we need to have more diversity in what we grow, all of us. With the Ramses, what were you saying about Deer Island significance? Oh, Stone Papa Smurf, nothing significant with the Ramsey case. If you're still in here, just that I think, thank you, Pyramid Flower. Just I think in the floating heart. That in the high five. Oh, you're sending all sorts of stuff. Happy poop. Thank you. I just feel like it could be possible that this man was a pervert, in my opinion, allegedly, supposedly. The way that and I don't like not all kids that wet the bed are traumatized, okay? But like she wet the bed often and that can be a sign of trauma. That just stuck out to me as like and that doesn't mean 100%. But I feel like the pageants, the everything about that family, I don't think that a lot of people get to that point and what's naturally in them comes out. I don't think that they're turned into perverts. I think that they had a proclivity to it all along, or else like they wouldn't indulge in things like that. But I totally think that maybe it's possible that was stopped by the 90s, the mid 90s, 96. I just thought like it would make sense that people with money might have a getaway home in the same state where there happens to be this like island where there's a ring they want to indulge in. Um, oh, Raul, no. Go look at one of my videos where it's like the daylight. I have this yellow ring light on me because the white makes it so bright. My teeth aren't super white, but they're not like this yellow usually. I don't care. I was like, if I put bright white light in my face, um, I get headaches faster. What does the jewels do you promote the channel? You have to be a member to send them. I have no idea, Diamond. I have no idea how people get them. I don't have jewels myself. I'm confused by it. I don't know what it does for my channel, honestly. It's funny. I speak Spanish. Oh, you're Spanish speaking. Okay, Paolo. That's cool. Well, you speak pretty good English. Take Walmart heiress, for example. Minnow Min said, I don't know what you mean by that. What about the Walmart heiress? I've never grown that stuff before, been wanting to try, Boston said. My heart is broken. How can they hurt children and innocent? They're animals. Yeah, to boldly go. Thank you, Fendi. It's something that most people feel when they hear stuff like this. But unfortunately, it's like there's enough that don't. Disturbingly wealthy people do disturbing stuff, Miniman said. Yes, it's like the hostile. I'm doing good, Big Dean. How are you? No lost in a sound. I am one quarter Colombian, though, but I'm mostly English, Irish, Swiss. Somebody asked me if I was Italian, and then I realized like Switzerland does border Italy on one side. I always forget, but I'm not. I'm like German, Swiss. My grandpa that was from Switzerland, all his family were like well over. He was like the shortest person. He was like 6'3" or 4. He had a sister. I think he said she was like 6'7" or something. They come from like the area where like the Swiss guards come from, the tall German people. I hate to catastrophize, but it's just the way it is. No, it's fine. Oh, Tia, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm great. Can't complain. Just supporting. Thank you, Big Dean. That's so nice. No, totally. I do feel with all my heart. Like, I don't know if it'll happen in our lifetimes, but I did see something I was watching was talking about how like they're not going to declassify Obama's birth certificate. I'm not saying that Obama wasn't born here, But I couldn't help but question it even more when they said they're not gonna declassify it till, like, the year 2126. Well, that's funny, but anyways, I don't even really care about that, like, what does that matter at this point, you know what I mean? Like, what does it matter now? But, I mean, it is interesting, but see, there you go. Like, that's how they've conditioned us to be like, even stuff that was, like, straight up wrong, if it's in the past, oh, well, it's in the past, it's water under the bridge. During the McCarthy era, you couldn't wiretap somebody without it being a big deal, and now it's like we all, like, allow the wiretapping in our homes, and it's not I don't know what it means, honey. It's just like it's just a thing people say. It doesn't have any particular meaning, but people like to say 6'7", not 67. I thought that you knew this. I thought you are out of the loop. It's so funny when my 16-year-old says stuff to me. I'm like, "What did you say?" And he, like, teaches me a new slang word. I'm like, "I feel so old." That's 'cause Obama's the Antichrist, LOL, Diamond said. Yeah, I voted for him, and I even wanted to put a bumper sticker on our car that was like, "Yes, we did," and my husband was like, "No, no, don't put that on the car." Like, he didn't not like him, but I remember thinking, like, "I'm glad he didn't." I mean, we got rid of that car anyways, but I was disappointed because he said he was gonna decriminalize marijuana, and back then I was all about it, and, like, seeing, like, the feds raiding people his whole both terms, that really made me mad. Still not completely disillusioned. How come you never had any friends from Hawaii or nobody we could have ever spoke to? I don't oh, yeah, that would be somebody to ask. MacArthur or McCarthy? Wasn't it McCarthy, right? 6'7" is a viral, ambiguous slang term meaning cool, awesome, it's giving, or just a nonsensical hype word. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you said that. Oh my gosh. NameDictionary.com's word of the year. That's a sign of the times right there. 6'7" is the word of the year. It just says it all. I saw the GIF 6'7", but I didn't know what it meant. Yeah, thank you, Big Dean, for the thumbs up. She got livid with you. Yeah, that's funny, Minoman. Yeah, it is my son was telling me about them doing it and all sorts of like, it sounds like it'd be annoying to be in school right now. So did I, but he turned out to be a sneaky scumbag to boldly go, said, yeah, I voted for Obama twice and I was wrong. Think for yourself, said, yeah, I would. So I registered independent and I think you can, whatever, everybody's allowed into their minds. But I'll never forget when my mom told me, she's like, we vote straight Democrat. And she's like in my face, if you knew my mom. She's like an inch away from my face. She's like, "We vote." She's like gritting her teeth. And that's why I said that in my happy wife lady. Because when a woman makes, she does angry movements with her mouth, I'm telling you, red flag. I'm sorry if that's any of your loved ones, but you know what I'm talking about if it is any of your loved ones. If a woman is making a mouth like she's a freaking dog snarling, you need to watch out. They could not always, not always. I'm just saying it might be somebody with a personality disorder. So, there's that. I'm sorry. We've devolved as a society. Yes, yes, Min. No, I totally feel that. Hi, Jay Hardy, how are you? Jay, how was your Christmas in your city? What time is it? It is 9:50. My camera's on 9:54 p.m. I'm in the Eastern time zone, Paula. What time is it where you are, Paula? Could you shout out my Austrian painter friend? Tristan said. Who's your Austrian painter friend? That's how my grandpa was when he was alive. His dying wish was for grandchildren to be Republicans. Oh, that's so funny, Diamond. I mean, I'm sorry, have to laugh at it, right? 6'7" means two different meanings. I believe one is could be 6 or 7, kind of like equal to, or a Libra's point of view. There is also all kinds of Bible quotes. Oh, Diamond, I never thought of that. He was a big snake and a liar. Yeah, to boldly go, I agree. But, yeah, some people might just be really expressive. There's always exceptions, okay? There's always exceptions. But I'm saying after almost 4 decades of living, I have found that like women who make angry mouths are often those you need to look out for. We all felt like your mom until Obama. And so I registered independent because I remember being like, I'm not going to vote straight Democrat. Like that just didn't sit right with me. And I really did. When I voted, I did my due diligence and I like research the candidates and try to pick like who I thought would be best. And this was when we lived in Louisville, and like I never did it after that. So I understand when people say you don't have a right to say anything. You're in Detroit, Alvin. It's 10. I do understand that sentiment, but I'm sorry. After the last like 8 years, I think that like whether you vote or not, I think in my opinion, it's obvious it's a little manipulated. Like when Biden won and they were like literally the like the freaking radio flyer wagons, like hauling shit out with wagons. Oh my gosh. But anyways, then it's kind of like, well, hi bossy truthy, how are you? It's manipulated somehow, and it's always going to be like that. And the way they talk about Trump possibly having a third term now, that's the kind of shit that they were saying Biden might do. Or, that Biden, if he was going to have a second term, might try to have a third term or something. Trump is also a snake and a liar, one that's controlled by BB. Yes, I agree with that, Fendi. Pennsylvania here, whoop whoop, Lester. I used to think Trump was great, Alvin. I don't like him anymore. Hi, Susan. How are you? I'm so sorry, you guys. I have been extra. I don't like clearing my throat on live. Stone Papa Smurf. I thought that's who it was. Why do you love him, baby? Are you Nick Fuentes? All women do that, Alvin. What do you mean change their minds? What do you mean? Try 5 decades of living. Think for yourself, said. Oh, thank you, Paolo. Yeah, oh, thank you so much, Acid Burn. I just saw the $2. It's Democrats now and a jackass. I'm anti-government pretty much too, Al. I'm an angry mouth and eyes woman. Diamond said, you're the exception. You're not too crazy. You're just crazy enough. Um, I definitely think that they're all the same. And I don't know, is it a technocracy or it's just the corporations rule everything. We don't have people serving us. Our politicians don't do anything for their constituents like they should be. We should all be independents, Primo said. And a third party vote isn't a wasted vote. I forget how much it is. If they get like 10 or 20% of the total vote, then they get more funding for the next election. So try to look at it like ahead. Like if more of us could get in line with voting for the third party, it would at least give a third party more hope for the next time, at least. But not enough people can seem to wrap their heads around that. Honestly, I probably would have been a third party voter the last few elections if I did vote. I tried to vote for Trump the first time, and we were in between houses and had all of our stuff in a storage facility because our lease ran out. We knew we were going to buy a house, and like we literally couldn't rent anything in town but this luxury apartment that was like thousands and thousands of dollars. It was literally cheaper to buy a house, $100,000 house, but still. And anyways, um, they said they needed my marriage certificate because even though I had been married and had driver's licenses in Indiana, Kentucky, Florida with my married name, that still wasn't enough proof that I was who I said I was. So, like, even, back then it was harder. Hi, I try not to participate in Xmas. Oh, Jay Hardy, I didn't know that. Well, that's cool. I hope you're having a good vacation. I'm sure all the kids are vacationing, right? I think politics is a lot more divided and extreme now. Yes, Mauve, definitely. That's the plan. And it was because in my opinion, when all this corruption came out, when the truth came to light, people are going to be so divided, like we are now, that we're not going to do like what we should be doing. I'm not anti-gay, but don't force your gay shit on me and my children. Think for yourself. Hi, peace and joy. I understand where you're coming from. Think for yourself. I think like Gavin McInnes said it kind of funny. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's funny to me sometimes. He's like, I don't need to know where you want to put your dingling, like that doesn't matter to me. I found girls that are into tarot cards are cool. Or cuckoo. Oh, not I thought you were saying cool, cool. You're saying cuckoo, BPD, Stone Papa Smurf. Oh, that's interesting. I've heard people say similar things about that kind of stuff. Hi, Tony. How are you? But I also think, of course, there's a lot of these stereotypes that aren't true. Like there's the tattooed thing, like women with tattoos tend to have more mental issues. Like I don't think that that is a fair thing to say across the board. And how has that really been studied, you know? But I do, oh gosh, I don't want to get under it. I do think that tattoo ink might be a cause for some health issues, and you see how it's not regulated. Third term won't happen because Trump's too old. Yeah, Alvin, I do agree with you, probably, especially with his issues. Tuck Frump sizzle said, I would vote for Trump a third time. Think for yourself, said. Oh, thank you for sending the high five, Ryder. Other than that, the 22nd Amendment will not allow a person to have more than 2 terms. Yeah, peace and joy. Except for there's something about, I've just heard people say this, I'm no expert. During times, if there was like war on our soil or something extreme like that, his term might be extended. That's not to say he would automatically have a third term. Hey, Addie, how are you doing? Did your nails turn out good? Fuck no. Well, it won't matter if it did happen. I ain't gonna be here, Fendi said. Oh, Alvin, I don't care for how Trump talks, and he's big on himself, but he is for America. Alvin, that's how I felt about him. I completely understand where you're coming from because that's how I felt about him for years. I always said I'd rather have like an honest asshole for a president than, like a nice liar. Because that's how I look at all politicians. They just say what you want to hear. Oh, Damo, thank you. Damo said, I hope you have a happy new year. Thank you. You too. Do you listen to Owen Benjamin? No, Stoned. I used to. When he very first started his online stint years ago, I listened to him. Oh, is he one of those guys that thinks women shouldn't be able to vote? Is he one of those? For some reason, I was listening to him. I was listening to Steven Crowder. Um, this was like 6 years ago. Yes, they serve the people, but they don't. Yeah, Alvin. It's a little too hard not to fall in line with what their lobbyists want them to do. Third party won't have any backing and wouldn't be able to get anything not done. Yeah, but if they got more funding, I forget the exact numbers. If they had more funding for the subsequent election, maybe they could get more done. If people really were fed up with the two-party system, I think that they should come together and try to create another one. I'm so sorry. If the party gets 5%, it is considered a major party. Okay, Primo, thank you for saying that. Work hard, no streaming, I'm out. Are you saying you're working hard, Gian? That's sad. Like about Somalians. What do you mean that about Jason? Jesus Christ himself. You're awesome. I'd gift you anything. Thanks, Jesus Christ. Fetterman has actually impressed me with his common sense approach to just do what he thinks best for his constituents, despite party lines, Lester said. Well, I like Massey, and he's from Kentucky. He's not from, he's not my area. God, I think I'm gonna have to go. But I always he's one of the only people I feel like really stands on his principles. I cook chili and accidentally put too much cayenne pepper in it. Is that Cheyenne pepper? That's funny, Lorraine. There could never be too much for me. I love to put tons of cayenne pepper in my chili. So much. Septum ring theory. Oh, hey Greg, how are you? Yeah, Fendi. I definitely know some cool level-headed chicks that have those, but I also understand where people are coming from with that. I do. It's so common. Hi, Corey. How are you? Hi, Rough Probe, the caddy. I would now vote Trump again and again if possible. Well, I'm glad so many of you are so happy with him. So are you disappointed in anything he's done? I mean that sincerely. Has he done anything that disappointed you? Or are you just, like, happy with all of it? Because, I didn't get into it. I read my notes already just talking about, like, what really got to me and made me look into the Epstein files more was, like, Ghislaine Maxwell is the only person in prison over this. And there's so many people involved. There's so much evidence. And it's like so many. Did you guys see like Bill Clinton's spokesperson? They released some statement. It was so weird. They're just like, thank you. It's like basically them. Like, once again, this is like what Satanists do. And I use that term loosely. I don't know for certain what the fuck they are, but they're clearly something. And like they like to put it right in front of your face and be blatant about it, and they're basically saying like, "Oh, thank you for all your work, DOJ, on the Epstein files and da da da. When it's clear he should be somebody who's like getting dragged off to court, implicated in all of this with like young girls on his lap. Oh my God, it's so disturbing. And to read it's so like talked about this before. It brings so every time it gets brought up, even if it's a 14-year-old girl. And it's women. Honestly, it's mostly women doing it. It's not even like men doing it, being misogynistic and being machismo. No, it's women. She knew what she was doing. She wanted it. She knew what she was gonna get. What? And when this girl talked about like being groomed by him in several occasions, they just talked and he would give her money. Of course, she didn't come from a good situation because, like, I think poor girl. Obviously, she didn't have parents that kept tabs on her and knew where she was every hour of the day, like one should when their child is 14 years old. Instead of thinking that, and you're like, she deserved it. This is how, Weinstein, this is how all these people get away with doing what they do for so long because people don't protect women. Um, I thought that men were supposed to like be the big protectors, but it's like, where is the protection for women and children? Oh, I already read that. Are you disappointed by him talking the way he talked about Epstein? He's getting things done, madness sprinkle. Well, I don't want to like, I'm not being patronizing. I'm sincerely glad you think so. And I do stand behind some of the stuff he's done, of course. But there's just so many things like the ballroom. Do we really need a new ballroom? The way that he talked down about Trump is a liar, you supported that grift. Well, I never officially voted for him, Beverly, but yes, I've been honest that like I wanted him to win over child sniffing Joe Biden. I did. But now to find out he really isn't any better. And I can admit when I myself have been bamboozled and like other people have also been brainwashed into thinking he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, Trump has never drank. That equals good man, even though he has openly talked about how when he was the head of the beauty pageants, he could just walk in the rooms and they'd be changing. It didn't matter. He could do whatever he wanted. Once again, we let him get away with all of this. A woman couldn't be so outwardly perverted. It would be gross. It'd be like, ooh, that old lady is creepy. But for some reason, it's so ingrained in us. And that's part of the propaganda. That's like the point is for it to be normalized for young women to just be passed around old men like him. Like it really, like the person who sponsored his wife's visa initially when she moved here, I'm talking about Melania. It was a head of a modeling agency, and that's what a lot of this is like. They're taking advantage of models, and this is Taylor's oldest time. I remember Dateline and story pieces like on news platforms like that talking about photographers preying on young women, saying, I'm gonna help you be a model, or like I'll put your headshots in front of the right people if you let me take your picture, and it turns into like bad things. And it's like I'm not saying anything about Melania or this guy or whatever, but like they were all hanging out in these same rings. There's women who were girls. There was like 18, 19-year-old models Jeffrey Epstein raped, and they are out there with their stories. This is what he did. He made them feel like he was going to help them with their modeling career. He invited them into his luxurious apartment on whatever, East Avenue or something. It's not funny. And it's like the trauma, the ripple effect that creates. I'm gonna see if anybody answered me about, oh my God, guys, I'm sorry, my chat got stuck. And I welcome anybody. I mean it. If you love Trump, like you're welcome on my channel. I would never want anybody to feel like I don't like you because you don't think like me. What rich person ain't a freak? Alvin said. Well, that seems to be the running theme, right? It's like, I just think that when you are so cutthroat, you get to that. Once again, I'm not talking about millionaires. I'm talking about billionaires. If you are that, you are like the psychopathic tendencies having CEOs that you got to that point for a reason. And then it's like, I'll never forget this guy who started a permaculture farm. He said his goal was to have $10 million in the bank account. He was like a hedge fund manager. as soon as he got that 10 million, it wasn't enough. And in his brain, he's like, now I need 13 million. And then it clicked in his head. Obviously, he was still a human with at least half a heart because he was like, this is fucked up. Like, I need to live my life. It's not about this. And he took his 10 million and retired and has a great life now, growing a food forest, like on an island somewhere or something. And um, I think, like, it's kinda like the Hispanic paradox that only occurs when there's a lot of Hispanic people together. I think, like, if you're, like, one wealthy person, like, I see, like, the mansions around here, and I'm like, they're, like, the good wealthy people, and once again, I'm not talking about millionaires, I'm talking about, like, the top 1%, maybe 5. But, like, you must be one of the good ones if you don't choose to go rub shoulders with a bunch of the others and just try to one up each other constantly, because that's what it is. Like, who has the most cars? Where did you climb Mount Everest? Now, apparently, a lot of wealthy people are, for a few years, turning Mount Everest into like a tourist attraction. And it's literally damn. I'm sorry, I'm not in the chat more, you guys. There's so many rich people involved with Epstein that it's almost impossible to pull them out of society. It will affect the world, Acid Burn said. Well, good. I don't know what you mean by that, acid burn. Like, they're supposed to, like, this is the way I look at it. None of them do anything. None of them work. None of them do anything. Most CEOs, they're not working. Everybody does everything for them. They're just there to get all the money and be a face for the company. I know there's exceptions. I know there are CEOs that actually work very hard. I'm talking about 1%. The top 1% of people where it's like a bunch of nepotism, just who you know. And it's like when they said Candace's husband, George Farmer, is the head of this app now, and it's just like whatever, Parlor, whatever, CEO of Parlor running it or something. He's actually, well, he's just like the face for it, and he just like talks to people for a few hours a day, maybe. They don't work like the rest of us. They could all disappear tomorrow. They could all get sent to prison tomorrow, like they should, in my opinion, and nothing would happen because they don't work. I'm gonna say it once again, financial diet lady, she said it too. The people that work the hardest make the least amount of money. And I believe that lady's a millionaire. She knows what's up. The people that work the hardest, likely as you watching this, is partly who I'm talking about. The hourly jobs, the jobs that don't have the best benefits. It's like the most important jobs. It's like what we all rely on so much, the supply chain. They're so delicate too, like people's lives really, like how people are struggling. um I think that it would be like a great thing for morale for people if people really came together and decided to like take it to the street like the French. Not saying anything violent should happen, I'm just saying people really decided to make real change. Cook chicken and bacon for all the kids tonight. Oh, that's cool, Jay. Hi, Hunter. How are you if you're still in here? My only thoughts when it comes to politics anymore is why does everything cost so much? Why can't the prices come down? About 10 years ago, prices. I know, Diamond. They're doing it on purpose. I don't know. I go back and forth. Is it depopulation? Like, is that the goal? Is it just plain like, I really do feel like a lot of people said COVID was a test to see how they could control, like, how much they could do, and I kinda did feel like that. I have deep, deep dug into the files, the Clinton emails from Robert Maxwell to Podesta artwork. The caddy, that's so cool, good for you. I would love to hear anything you have to say, the caddy. Lulzek, I don't know what you mean by that. Never blow the blue no matter who. I can't read. You're the type of person that has a body in their basement, the warrior ink. I have a crawl space. Think for yourself, Jocelyn Nungare. Who is that? Think for yourself. Should I look it up? Looking at how many children have been found and rescued recently. Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember hearing about that, especially a few months ago, like at the beginning of Trump's presidency. There was definitely, but I just think that's the work of like good law enforcement officials. I don't look at that as Trump. He closed the border. Yes, spiritual gang stars. That is very good. That is the best thing he could have done. But it's like the ICE stuff is like that is costing us a lot of money. ICE employees themselves are getting hurt. They're just like, hmm. And I was against the way they let people immigrate into here. It's just crazy the way that it's happening. The way that they are remedying it isn't right. Little kids coming home to their parents being gone, like, I don't what isn't costing the taxpayers anything, Greg? It's my body. Why did you say that, Boston? Of course we need a new ballroom. They're having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars putting up tents. Um, I just think it during everything going on right now, Eyes Wide Shut warned us 26 years ago. Yes, Primo, I brought that up earlier. Yes, you are right. I didn't know until recently that the director of that he died just a few days after it was like finished filming or whatever. I didn't know that. And I totally agree. I think that in my opinion, there's the wealthiest people move in the same circles, and their goal is to influence society wherever their society is in whatever country they live in. And now we've become such a global society that, like, of course, it's like, oh, thank you, Gimme. The first Avenger. Trump recently said hundreds of governors are calling me. We only have 50. Think about that. Take all the time you need, MAGA. The first Avenger. Yeah, I'm sure I myself included as somebody that used to support him, like I just have to laugh at stuff like that. I mean, like I feel like a lot of our politicians are like career politicians. Like I didn't like how Biden has been a politician his whole adult life. And I felt like that lent to a lot of corruption. And I was hopeful that Trump would be different, but like jokes on me, they're all the same. That's what I'm trying to say. The elite, that's what they want. They want us to sit here and like, and I play into it too. So I'm not saying I'm better than anybody like Trump or not Trump or like fight over stuff, like all the shit I talk about on my channel, all of it. The racial stuff, the gender stuff, the sexual preferences, how transgenders are 0.5%, yeah, 0.5% of the population. And like, and I do understand sometimes there is a need to talk about these things, but the way that it's been talked about and focused on, speaking of which, Blair White made a great video about the Epstein files. I forgot about that. Okay. Blair White's video was the best video from any larger YouTuber that I've seen on this. And it's like they released, they say 1% of what they have, right? Oh my gosh, I need to quit letting it get stuck. The chat like gets stuck and then I think nobody's talking, but it's not. And what bothers me is people like Sleepy Joe sniffing around on everyone. Yes, Diamond. I definitely think, in my opinion, Joe was a pervert. There was so much proof of that. And it's like when I like am saying hi to a little kid and they're like not all about me, I feel bad for making them feel uncomfortable when they're just like not wanting to talk to me. I couldn't imagine like getting in their faces and like sniffing them, and they're obviously like not fine with you being in their space. And once again, if it was a creepy guy that lived in a single wide trailer down the road, it would be obvious this is wrong. He shouldn't be handling children like this, especially children like even if he was related to them. It's so creepy, but especially like not, related to the grandpa of. And that stuff definitely, there was so much more of it. Guys, have you seen some of the stuff about Erica Kirk? Sometimes I talk like this, then I come back down to reality, John Gotti said. See, I can see through your mask, the caddy said. Oh, goodness. Super chicken. I hope it's good. The guy couldn't put a sentence together either. Right. And, Trump's not the best. I already got through my notes. If anybody is just now coming in, I did have some pretty good notes written down. But basically, yeah, Diamonds in Kentucky. We're all answering for her. The black shadow. Oh, I didn't turn on my black light this whole time. Are you an agent? No, I'm not a Fed. So we can clear that up now. Oh, yeah, and that makes my face blue on that side. What is happening in Minnesota from Ireland? News is crazy. Is there something going on in Minnesota? All I know is, and I think it's happened even in Ireland. In Ireland, has there been like mass immigration taking place? And then it'll be like a bunch of people from like one particular country. So that's what people don't seem to understand. There's like for a long time we had like certain quotas, and it's like we let people in from all around the world, especially if you had like a job or a specialty, you went to college and had a certain profession, and like we like let people and like to like let all so many people in. It's just like asking for non-assimilation, and that leads to what they call like a mosaic culture, which is not a melting pot. We're used to being a melting pot where everybody, and I understand you should be able to speak any language you want here, right? But for most of America, most people speak English. And like it's turning into um it's getting to be to where people are like arguing for why people don't have to speak English. Thank you, a dog. I would work for ice. Think for yourself, said John Gotti. Some prices coming down, but beef is working on eggs. Trump made a $1 billion investment. Eggs have come down drastically. My chickens are still laying eggs. We got an egg today. It'll probably stop now. That's so frigidly cold. We got 3 eggs a few days. So beef, I hate to say, I don't think beef is going to get any better. Did you guys know what's going on in France? Farmers in France were um protesting, spraying cow's blood and manure on their government buildings, dumping truckloads of tires. I mean, huge, like dump trucks, loads of tires, because they're making them kill healthy cows over this one disease. They're making them kill cows that they shouldn't have to kill according to them. And it's a disease that's been in other countries for like 50 years and they're handling it fine. But then, France is like, oh, we need to, and in my opinion, they're doing like, I don't know if you knew, but a lot of people couldn't afford the feed. S 2, 3 years ago, a lot of people sold a lot of their breeding stock. Usually, they don't sell this at the auction, and so, like, people have just smaller herds most likely and all together in our country because of the way the feed was so expensive. So, it is, pretty crazy. Also, the 1 billion he invested will be eaten by us with the eggs in what, a couple days, John Gotti said. Is that a cat on your picture? I know you flow with the viewers, but you're an influencer now and you need to set the narrative. Don't be a pussy. Go with your people. Cadence, you just call me an influencer. That's so sweet. I'm like a micro influencer. I'm like a pin-sized dot influencer. Stone Papa Smurf, director of Eyes Wide Shut, was director of The Shining. Look into the symbolism of The Shining. Oh, yes, Stone Papa Smurf. That always used to freak me out so bad. And now it doesn't scare me as much, but I'll never forget the first time I saw that old lady in the bathtub in The Shining. Oh my gosh. Yes, and he was killed, wasn't he, Smurf? That's what people speculate, but I don't think it was. I don't know what his cause of death was. I just despise all the filthy rich people now. Diamond, same. And I want to be positive, like it, but like that's what I feel like. Jesus was born from a virgin. That's what they say. I don't know where and what place I went to in the chat. You talking about this got me wondering, what's your OnlyFans? I don't have an OnlyFans take. Anthony Joshua got into an accident in Nigeria. I don't know who we're talking about now. The Plastic Island Boys. Are you talking about those guys with the tattoos on their faces? Greg said, I'm drunk now, so it's true. Yes, I want to make more content on. I'm against sex work, and that does not mean the men and women that do it, mostly women, but like I think it's completely unsustainable and it's like part of why we're in the state that we're in. Kentucky is blue, right? Enjoy your gas prices. Well, it's red, think for yourself. Um, hold on. We have a Democratic governor, but we're like red, right? Does having a Democratic governor make us blue? I'm so dumb. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm on the same page. Not having a civil war over this is wild. Hey, Ernie. See, it's like I think part of the perversion and everything, like everything's been so normalized, and that's part of it. Like OnlyFans being brought up in everyday conversation. God is real. I've had near-death experiences. I was going to heaven and hell are real. Don't doubt it. Diamond said, "Oh, Diamond, that's so neat. Have you ever watched near-death experiences on channels here, Diamond?" Because that's one of my favorite things. Jim said, "Go Trump." Boston said, "Kentucky is red." Alvin, Somalians in Minnesota. Boxing, they stole all the money. Yeah, I've heard, once again, one of my favorite YouTubers, Lovely T. She's from St. Paul. And so she does a really good job not like, walking the fine line and not really saying this or that. But yeah, it is pretty crazy. They don't seem to be like bad people, but then again, the fraud and everything, it's kind of like I'd like Imagine Dragons, what I've heard of them, but I don't know a lot of them. Kentucky is purple, think for yourself said. Most coming in here are military age men. Right, Alvin. That's what I said earlier. It was like seeing all the able-bodied men was like, oh, this isn't good." Is, a more vulnerable being. That's right, we used to be a melting pot home. Yes. And I heard the term mosaic being said about Canada because that's what they do. They like just like let tons of people come from one area. They set up, and like we're tribal people, like we just naturally like to be around who tends to look like us the most, right? But that doesn't mean like in every single neighborhood, in every single Chinatown, there's people from all over, right? There's all ethnicities, is what I'm trying to say. In every single black part of town, there's people of all ethnicities. And, you could go on and on, right? And it's like, I don't know where it was some people got this idea that, like, it hasn't always been that way, but I think that's the way it needs to stay. And so what I saw when people were on the ground with, like, the Somalians, in my opinion, that's it just was like, wow, this is a mosaic, when people on the street refuse to talk to you, can't talk to you because they don't speak the same language, and there's, like, signs with another language. Like, wow. They're not bringing their best. I was reading a comment, I wasn't saying that. But, like, I do think that it's a mix, you know what I mean? There's definitely good people coming over, but there has to be bad people here. They're not bringing their best to Dublin, and it's getting out of hand. Greg Anderson said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Greg." Yeah, it seems to be changing the landscape of a lot of major cities and countries, and it's like it's too late when people really come to terms with it. We left a small town in Southern Indiana that was like I was one of the only kids with dark hair when I moved there when I was 8, 30 years ago, okay? The first time I lived there, I was 8, 30 years ago. People asked me why my hair was so dark. Like, it was really rare to have dark hair. It's a very German town. And now it's like well over 50% of the kids there have dark hair. There's so many Hispanic kids, and they have more children, and they do assimilate with the birth rates after a few generations, though, after being here. But it and lots of nice people. I made some friends that were, lots of good people. One of my friends I was the closest to for a few years. She was born in Mexico. Her parents brought her here. Her husband was in the military, actually, and like she was like so freaked out about Trump and stuff. And I do feel for those people. I don't think that, like, they should be looked at as the problem. It's just so difficult. They know what they're doing. Yes, I'm married. I like eggs for breakfast. I I don't eat eggs as much as I used to. It's a shame because we have chickens and bacon. Think for yourself, said. Where's this money that Trump's giving people? Shane, what I read was like around April, and that was just a very rough estimate. That's nothing official. Alvin Borio, last night we were fishing, boxing fan says. But I'd like to think it would be here even earlier than that. Wouldn't that be nice? I don't have time to do a full story on it. Just put it like this. The last time I had one, and I've had two of them, the person in the room with me heard my thoughts. So that was, oh, that's crazy, Diamond. Kentucky in the house, smothered pork chops over rice said. How are you? Farmers are over subsidized. Yeah, peanut butter jelly. I think they did that on purpose. They made them so dependent. And then they told them, "This is" it even got to the point where I don't know when this happened, but it didn't used to be that the government was like, "You buy your seeds from this place," like, or "We're not gonna give you your crop insurance this year," like, shit like that. That's not America. And I'm sorry, but like, I'm just gonna say it because I have a big mouth. I know it's gonna rub some people the wrong way, but I feel like we've been sold out by our farmers. And I still want to respect our farmers, Like, I know that it's necessary that they have these huge monocrop farms. It's just the way that it is. But I feel like that they would have put their feet down or something, or like even if they would have stood up for each other sooner. And now it's apparent, and then this is what the divide and conquer. Not enough people care because that's what you voted for. That's what everybody said. And people said it during Biden, Republicans said it to any complaint anybody had for 4 years. Well, this is what you voted for. And like, I'm so sick of that. Let's stop doing that to each other. We didn't do that my whole life until like the last 8 years. France loves the horse meat, Greg said. I heard they sold horse meat at Aldi's here years ago, like, as beef. Cosmic vision. I've been pooping standing up to save time. Diamond, God in my life played before my eyes. I was dying. That person asked me if I wanted more time. I instantly was able to speak and move again. Oh, Raul, un poquito. Un poquito. I can't conjugate the verbs. Chevaline Cosmic said, why do you do it? What is your motivation? What are you talking about? Think for yourself. I'm gonna say thank for yourself. Time is money, Cosmic Boston said. I want to crack in the crack. I have no idea what that means, but that sounds like it's not right. If you ask me if I know Spanish one more time, I look like Sid from Ice Age. Cosmic, I've been coming up with a bunch of good ideas lately. Cosmic, YouTube is a lot better to smaller creators than it used to be. Hi, Pamela, how are you? Oh, thank you, boxing. That's nice. No, Kenneth, I don't think I've ever stepped over a homeless person. I don't think I could do that. I think I'd be scared they'd like grab me. Sorry. That would feel wrong. Pamela's in Kentucky. Oh, that's so cool, Pamela. Yeah, it's my black light behind me that's purple. Gas is $2.39 a gallon in Detroit. Grumpster living in America. Think for yourself. I had plenty of near-death experiences. Diamond, I do not blame women for sex work. A mother will do anything she has to do if she loves her children to survive. Even a woman wanting to get out of a situation will do whatever it takes, no matter what. Yes, Diamond. That's why I always say that, like right up front. Like, I don't ever want to come off as like I look down on people that do it because I know that people don't do that unless they're in destitute situations, and nobody that's glorified the time in their life when they did it, like Cardi B. I always bring her up because it's just so and I know she is scantily clad often, but she doesn't literally go on a stage and take off her clothes for people to give her money to do it. Nobody chooses to do it for recreation or sport, you know what I mean? Like nobody like, and I know some people don't really need the money, but they're still doing it. But let's be real, nobody doesn't do it to like unless they're trying to maintain a certain lifestyle at least. And I think I wonder if I had a shared death experience one time and I was like asleep and I woke up after it. And that's like the only thing I've ever had like that. I am from Kentucky. Yes, I have. Sometimes I like to watch them, the near death experiences. Yes, Diamond, there's a bunch of good channels. Oh, thank you, Joshua. Lord of the Lost from Germany, great band. Oh, I need to look up some new music. What kind of music is it? For some reason, I picture like flutes and stuff. I picture. And look where that melting pot got us. Yeah, Boston, where all the good bourbon and whiskey your people drinks come from. Yeah, you said it, brother. All over here and there as well. Forbidden Ninja. Zesty power. Okay. I am almost at the end of the chat, and sometimes if you're lucky, an Asian man triples. I now call them China Death. That is funny, Joshua. Mike likes cauliflower. I do too, Mike. Damn, what are you looking at me? Like you look to the no, dark. I don't have a lazy eye, dark. Cadence, it's Mossad, not Jews. I think this is an issue that's overlooked. Yes, Cadence, you are right. A lot of people just say the no-no people, but you're right. I agree with you. And Epstein is definitely part of that. He had a hat or a sweatshirt, or he had a sweatshirt. And then it was like there's some other guy running in his same circles that was wearing a hat, and it's like this is it goes over most of our heads because we are, oh, thank you, boxing. Once again, we're just like trying to survive. And these people that have so much money, the world is their playground. I don't smoke. I'm vape. Oh, my mods don't block anybody unless they're like spammy or they really don't. You'd be surprised if you see them blocking somebody. Bill is back, was watching the wood shop. That sounds cool. What was that? What are they making? If new people don't come into towns, the people there are staying blonde for generations because they're related. Yeah, calcification. There is a need for new people for sure. And there's a lot of that attitude, or even around small town Kentucky. Like I had a veterinarian that I took my dog to talk down to me. He literally was making fun of me to my face. He's like, "You think you're a certified homesteader or something, don't you?" He literally was talking to me like that. And he didn't even get up out of his chair once. He was so lazy. And he even ended up saying, "But I know we do need people to come here and work. You work. That's good. A lot of people around here don't work." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what do you think is going to happen to these towns if nobody that has the ability to buy a home, invest in the community a little bit, doesn't like come in and do that and work the jobs, you know? Like we worked at Amazon for Christ's sake. And so I do understand that that comes off as like that's what people feel like with the immigration, but that's what I'm saying. I've lived in America my whole life. I lived in South Florida where there's like neighborhoods in Hialeah where everything's in Spanish. I mean, everything, everything, every business, every billboard, the radio stations, all Spanish. And I think that's cool, like that, the very tip of our country that's the closest to the rest of our continent. That's fine with me. It is always like that. It's supposed to be like another country, Miami, parts of Miami. But then when more areas start to feel like that more and more, and it ends up, it's not just these people are different, they speak a different language. It's there's not one rental within an hour of the place I just got a job at. Like, what am I going to do? There's no resources. Now, all of a sudden, it used to be easier, less than 6 weeks to get my kids on state insurance. And now it takes a lot longer because of, oh my gosh, especially if you move to a state like Florida, where a lot of people move there, it will take you literal months to get anything like that. And not the Island Boys. Oh, I know of them. I don't know much about them. Jed is making shepherd's pie. That's cool. It's been the Democrats doing all that stuff to our farmers. Well, acid burn, Trump isn't helping. I'm pretty sure Trump's done some stuff the past few months the farmers are pretty perturbed about. You should look into that. The regulations that they put on agriculture really has hurt the price of the produce in our country, and they do not give the farmers that much money for their produce. Right, Bill. They've got them by the balls, and they know. That's when they subsidize them. They made them dependent on them so that this is farms are gone, government is taking them over. They're gonna try to turn them into a bunch of AI data centers and solar farms. Listening is part of communication. Yes, think. You are right. I like shepherd pie too, boxing fans. Inca said, "This is what you voted for." Somebody always says it, but we're all here together. You can say that all day long about anything anybody complains about. When the repercussions affect everybody, it doesn't matter. It's just what is happening. And that's part of like why things, I see here. I shouldn't say that. I think the people that are going to create the most change and move forward and be the kind of forward thinkers that we need aren't going to be telling, the other side that just need to, hate to say it, pull up the bootstraps. It's a respect thing. You're welcome to come here, but respect the customs of the people that are already here. Yes, primo. Exactly. And people in Mexico, they don't like it when people from here go and retire in their communities to the point where they're like changing the landscape of their communities. They have started talking about farmers growing marijuana instead of tobacco here in Kentucky. Yes, Boston. Shepherd said gout says no to pork and beef. Yeah, but that's like a lot of it, right? Bill, I can remember back in the 80s, there used to be a lot of dairy farms around here where I lived, and they had the government buyout. Yes, Bill. I had somebody tell me that 2015 or so, they made it so you had to have a minimum of 2,000 heads of cattle to have a dairy farm where you pasteurized milk, and that really took out a lot of farms. Um, I can think of one dairy farm. I was kind of surprised. I thought that it was a small farm. Like, gosh, I guess he has at least 2,000 because it's Prairie Farms. That was said on another channel. I was modding about shepherd's pie. Mr. Carey, ooh, there are no coincidences. They have been exposed. Thank you for bringing these topics up. Oh, think for yourself. Thank you for being here. You're gorgeous. Oh, thank you, Blood Legion. That's so sweet of you. I look like Kamala Harris. Oh, like us versus them. Fuck that. I ain't liking either of those teams. Well, JL contracting, my point is it's like people think that it is about um, just these scary predators. It really is like this. They have their tentacles in everything, in everything. In our housing industry, our entertainment industry, it goes so deep in financing, even probably more than we'd like to think in tech and medical. And if we could have the attitude of, you know, we could do something about it because we are better than them. Quit calling them elite. We need to quit doing that and like give them that. I am from Eastern Kentucky, Positive Warrior said. Oh, that's so cool. A diamond in the sticks is also from Eastern Kentucky. On my music videos, etc., as long as I list the title and artist, I can't get sued for copyrights, right? I Oh, you're asking Mr. Carey. Okay, that was good. Thank you, Blood Legion. I am done reading my notes. I'm just reading the chat right now. But I saw a few things. I don't know if I wanted to make a video about it. But did you guys see Erica Kirk and how she said she didn't date anybody for 5 years before Charlie? And it turns out this one guy she dated, Cabot Phillips, he has pizza tattooed right there, like on the inside of his lips. The word pizza. That was interesting. David, hello from Ohio. I delivered equipment down to Fort Campbell. It's on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. The base is huge and security is tight. Obviously, Kentucky sure is a beautiful state. Yes, David. Yeah, and Ohio can be really beautiful too. I want to go to the Snake Mounds in Ohio, David. And there's this one, I was surprised. They said this one national forest in Ohio is like the most economically diverse place in our country. It was like, what? I need to look that up again. But I believe it was, like, southeastern Ohio, which makes sense. Eastern Kentucky Unite. Um, Mike Ox Big. I I do a pretty good job with a hammer. Jay Franklin, I was just hanging up Christmas lights a few weeks ago. My people are from Kentucky, a place called Hell Half Acre. It's in mid-Kentucky. That's funny. I haven't heard of that. That must be one of those really small towns, you know? That's funny. Boyd County Positive Warrior said, "Oh, I've heard of Boyd County. Copyright is fine now and you won't get sued." Diamond. Mr. Carey said. Saludos, Benita. Oh, Mentes. Hi, how are you? Yes, I am barefoot. I just had 20 pieces of sushi. That's so funny. One of my favorite YouTubers, Refashioned Hippie, she was just subscribing 500,000. She has grown her channel so fast. She deserves it. She really does work hard. And she got this huge sushi platter to celebrate. Should I drink the pink or purple Fabuloso? Oh, Nayeli, neither. You stop it. Vape worse than smoke. Yeah, I know, Santino. It can't be good. I mean, I don't cough up like dark mucus like when I smoked every day. I'm sorry if that's gross to anybody. I'm sorry. You never know what I'm gonna say. But like it still makes me cough, and Pulaski County, Little Rock. I don't know if there's a Little Rock in Pulaski, Malone. Yes, Boston, Georgia. I know in Kentucky is one of those states that wants to grow marijuana. I do think the hemp byproduct is good for making ropes, clothing, and fabric. Bill said, yes. And love you too, said Hartha. Said Harthna, yeah. Um, said Harthna. Said Harthna. I think that it's really useful medicine. It, don't tell me that there isn't some grand design. Like, we have cannabinoid. Is that how you say it? Cannabinoid, cannabis receptors, cannabinoid receptors in our body. And that doesn't mean we need to sit around and do it all day, every day. I'm just saying. I do think God put it here for us. The good news is Kirk hasn't said anything sexist or racist in 3 months, Daniel. Okay, since it's been 3 months, I'm gonna laugh at that. Yeah, his wife, is the funniest freaking. I couldn't find the video. I saw memes, like a compilation of people making fun of her, and like her joy. It was so funny. I had to laugh. There was like people made these AI videos of her like doing somersaults on stage, and um basically it wasn't that much of an exaggeration of what she is acting like. But in my opinion, the people that dug into her, I found this channel Coop, COOP, really young guy, great work. Of course, I'm sure he's just one human being. I'm sure he makes mistakes. I was watching a lot of his videos. People were talking about how he made all these mistakes or whatever, like talking about like terms when it comes to EMT work and stuff. The point is, he was doing a really good job looking into all this stuff. And I think it was his video. Yeah, it was his video about Erica Kirk. Supposedly, her family is related to the Rothschilds. There's like a gosh, I forget, Roth, something like that. But she's done a really good job. Like her dad is not found on the internet at all, which is quite a feat. I mean, it's possible. But then when they dug into her family tree and saw this one guy she posted, I'm sorry, guys, the chat, which she untagged after people brought this post to people's attention saying this was her uncle and his last name was Rothstein, I think. And then it's like, yeah, they are related. I have thousands of the yellow copyrights, none of the red ones that I know of, Diamond said. Hold on, are you at 1,000, Diamond? Oh, dirt bike. Thank you for sending the flower. Dirt bike juice. You only worry when they email you to take them down, Diamond, so you're good, Carrie said. She is having people threaten her children and hers about drove her crazy. Acid burn. I'm sorry. She's out there on a book tour. She needs to be at home with her babies who have gone through the most drastic change in their lives, probably. I'm sorry, acid burn. If you think I'm like a complete bitch, but I think that she is a hypocrite who needs to go home and spend time with her kids like she tells other women to do. Like, put off your career. You can have babies. Your kids are only young for so long. She says that stuff. But then look at her. She's not doing that. And I totally believe, in my opinion, this is what I feel like. It's either Charlie's still alive or she was part of what took him out, so I really don't care to, like, say anything disgraceful about her name. Nothing else makes any sense. Everybody grieves differently, yes. Nothing else makes any sense. Everybody can agree to it now. Like, she isn't acting right. Something's not right, and in my opinion, she saw that he turned down that 155 mil, and she had a little fit about it, and went to the guys that he was getting ready to, you know, do the what am I trying to like, he was trying to do an audit of his company, a financial audit, and then when they're all like, "Oh, shit, he's gonna see" this is just my opinion, allegedly, supposedly, "Now he's gonna see all the money we funneled around. Oh, no," and they, like, kinda work together to do something maybe. Either that or they all knew that, like, he was going to get taken out, and it's just more believable to do it in, like, such a public way because if they were just like, "Oh, he died in a car wreck," then the whoever's trying to take him out might not believe that as much, but then we put him in front of a and this is something else somebody said that I haven't watched the video yet. 928 subs on Diamond's channel. Oh, Diamond, you're so close. Thank you, Lamont. I haven't watched the video and I don't want to, FC. But people said you could tell, or it looked like AI when the blood stopped. Now, I don't want to like um gross anybody out, but supposedly like the what they call a cavitation looked like it could have been put on there and like fake and like so I don't want to watch it myself because I do believe that's part of the plan too. Like they're trying to desensitize us, and I feel like I've been desensitized enough. It's not like I think I'm like goody two shoes, I can't be desensitized. It's the opposite. I've been desensitized enough. I was on rotten.com when I was a way too young. I was like a young teenager. If you guys don't know what that is, that's like they used to have like all the worst of the worst you could find, pictures, stories. It's like crime scene, autopsy photos, accidents, and I mean, we rented Faces of Death, like, for sleepovers. I know I'm not the only person that grew up getting, like, the creepiest story I'm sorry, movies they could from Blockbuster because that was like our fun was like scaring ourselves. And I think that, yeah, I think that was part of the plan. And how in every single scary movie there was very gratuitous sex scenes. I think that was also part of this grand plan that is meant to happen. I could use some more makeup. Okay, SW. Merry Christmas, Peter Perez. How are you? Local neighborhood hater. When I say they, I'm talking about, actually, I forget exactly what context I just said they. Usually I'm talking about, I want to quit calling them the elite. The people in power, when the projectile hits the skin and goes under the skin, it can deflect off of bones and go along the skin and enter other places. I saw the photos that happened and it was a shame. Bill Clancy, I know what you're talking about. The projection, is it called the um, yes, but when it comes to such a caliber and the thing that it hits being like somebody's spine, and I did think it was interesting that they called it miracle when usually it's the magic bullet or like magic is used when it comes to the people they know are going to be more evangelical, possibly. They're saying, no, J Prime, I just don't have a perfect symmetrical face. See what this is why I made the live about beauty privilege. This is what beauty privilege gets you. If I was just some average looking guy with asymmetrical face, and notice how like people go back and your eyes are so pretty, your eyes are so pretty, and then like every 100 comments there has to be a something about my fucked up eye. I know I don't have a completely symmetrical face. Yeah, it didn't say anything else. Oh, you do have a picture of yourself. Usually people don't have pictures of themselves. But I just couldn't imagine. J Prime, are you still in here? When was the last time you got laid, J Prime? I have a feeling it's been quite a while since you had an orgasm and somebody else was in the room. I'm guessing months, if not years, right? Because men who aren't um mad they haven't gotten laid for too long, don't act like that. I'm tired. And it's just, we all love your beautiful eyes, Diamond said. Thank you. But you see what I mean? You guys see it. It is a social experiment, Shakir. It's like, as many people say, your eyes, your green eyes, your green eyes. And like, I grew up like people like, oh, my eyes, and calling me Elizabeth Taylor when I was little before my nose got big. You're gonna look like Elizabeth Taylor because my eyes were bluer when I was younger too, and, um, they were like aqua, they were like blue-green, and so I was, like, used to people, like, fawning over my eyes, and honestly, like, the shit I went through and, like, having my kids and going through stuff, like, humbled me in a good way because I was stuck up. I was too, conceited. And I didn't think that I was, like, so much prettier, but I remember just putting too much stock in my looks. So now that I'm older and I don't, like, look as pretty as I used to, I'm like, "Oh my god." I couldn't imagine if I did feel the way I did when I was prettier, and then I had to deal with, like, internet trolls. And I do mean it with all my heart. Whenever there's a man, and I say this, my husband has never, he would never, no mood tines, uh, just millions of YouTubers, and to people who have something negative to say are just jealous because they know they can never get someone as pretty as you, Diamond Sim. It's random trolls. You can't be sensitive on the internet. Yes, local neighborhood hater. I know what you mean, but it's just like every single live my teeth, my eyes, and it's the kind of thing that's like this is why I say pretty privilege is people feeling like they can say whatever they want about your looks because you caught their eye enough to make them stop. But then, they have to decide whether or not they want to take you down a peg. And I'm the kind of person, if I like don't like something about somebody, even if I hate their guts and they're really mean, I'm just like not gonna say I don't know. I'm grown up. And I just how are there so many grown up people that go around trying to like rag on people's looks? And I do know that a lot of it is because they're jealous. Even if they don't think I'm pretty, it's like I have a channel and I can talk to people on the internet with my monetized channel, and that alone makes them want to tear me down. Thank you, Chad Snow. I think I'm pretty enough. Thank you, Bill. Said there's nothing wrong with my nose. I'm so full of shit. My eyes are brown. Middleman. And also, the prettiest eyes I know are brown. One guy had a video from the front and the right. Charlie's head went forward first, then down. The video was taken down. Boyd Carter. So Baron Coleman. I hope I'm saying the right name. I really like that guy. And honestly, I don't have enough time to listen to all his content. He does like 3 hour lives and they're really good. I'm still not sure if he himself is an attorney or a retired attorney, but this is a smart man, very fair and balanced. And he, from his content that I have sopped up, I think that he is leaning towards the electrocution, or maybe I shouldn't, the exploding device theory. Some people have pointed out how his hands seem red and discolored, and that could also be a sign of, who knows? Like they have things that we don't know about, you know? Everyone on social media is going to get trolled. Yes, Diamond. Shakir, misery loves nothing more than company. Never mind the troll, sweetheart. Yes, I hope I don't bother you guys. Just sometimes I do feel like I need to react to them. You know what I mean? Paulette, I think I'm still pretty. I'm just not as pretty as I used to be, and I'm okay with that. You can ask me anything, Steve. Um, See what I mean? Pretty privilege, what the fuck? In what world do you fall into that category? I don't fall into that category in Maheen Vegetta's world. Off-grid homesteading. Long time. Do I want peace or passion? I pick peace. Do what you enjoy. It don't matter what they think. Yes, off-grid. Do you have a channel? Um, I think everybody can have a beautiful trait, at least one beautiful trait. I don't like, I think it takes a lot. Somebody has to really be super unhealthy for a long time to be ugly. And I know that sounds mean, but I'm just being truthful. Like the beauty of health, or the foundation of beauty is good health, right? The things we associate with it. Uh, Kentucky, don't get discouraged, keep pushing. Oh, I will, young. What are your thoughts on Candace Owens? Personally, I'm a fan. Local neighborhood hater. I've always been on kind of on the fence about her. I watch her from time to time, but I think that she's breadcrumbing right now. I think that she is, I'm not saying that she's a fed like Alex Jones, but I do think that she's a little bit of a distraction. I'm gonna make a post. If anybody's interested, I mean it. It might not be tonight, it'll be tomorrow probably. It'll be smaller YouTubers that are actually putting out like tons of information. Like Baron Coleman, he's not a smaller YouTuber, but he's like who I'm talking about. Like I just feel like there's so many other people that are putting out so much information. And like I said, I still watch Candace from time to time. But I never liked how she wanted to do the social autopsy website. And I know when I was 18, 20 years old, there's probably ideas I had in my head that I wouldn't agree with now. So I try to give her some grace with that. But if you didn't know, she wanted to come out with the website that was like talking about people's online reputations. And I was always kind of like, anybody who makes, and I know I would fall into this category, and I'm talking about myself, but anybody who makes their living off of just like talking, I'm always gonna be extra like I mentioned Whitney Webb. She's an investigative journalist. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, not that I'm aware of. People like that's who like the real investigative journalism is being done by certain people. Um Ex-church mouse, that doesn't make me feel any better, my health struggles. I'm thinking when I say, like, everybody's beautiful, I know somebody's gonna be like, "There's no people that aren't beautiful," and I'm thinking about, like, my 600-pound life, and, like, I feel bad saying that. Everybody has health issues, I have lots of health issues too, ex-church mouse. I just got cancer. I just got surgery to beat getting cancer. I need to go to sleep. My health struggles too. Extras just try to do the best you can do, Diamond said. I don't really put out info, just pictures and videos of fish. Minnow that's so funny. Yeah, but that was 20 years ago. The internet was a different thing. Yeah, local neighborhood hater. I know. I do like her overall, but I just feel like she's a little bit of a distraction. If we'd been made our YouTube channels 20 years ago, we'd all be millionaires by now. Oh my gosh, Diamond, could you imagine? I wonder if we'd still be in Kentucky. Steve, I'm going to look at your activity. Do you think online content creations are a viable trend for the future? What do you mean by viable trend for the future? I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but I would say yes, because they already are. No, I don't do Starbucks. Hi, Jim. How are you? I'd rather be a simp than an uncle primo. Okay. Travis, hi, how are you? Do you think online content creations are viable? Oh, I already answered that question. Oh, ex-church, of course. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I'm just saying, like, oh, acid burn, I hope that you have a good night. I gotta go. I feel 90% better than what I did the last 3 months. So good night and quit being a Trump hater. We need to put Trump on Mount Rushmore. Acid burn. No, it's my channel, okay? I'm sorry, but like I will go be the one to set the dynamite if that ever happens. I'm sorry, that is not gonna happen. Oh my gosh. I think that when we look back 100 years from now, when our souls and other bodies are gonna have history lessons, I'm like, isn't that obvious? Could you imagine like that guy? And it seems like people knew he wasn't good news, but then like some people, like, how did some people have faith in him? And they're gonna look back and be like, how did this happen? And once again, I liked him too. So I'm not saying it like um I'm glitching now. Hi, Tim. How are you? Put the dumbest president on Mount Rushmore. Yeah, Travis, I agree. I couldn't. It's bad enough. Like the name on the John F. Kennedy, what was it? Art Center or whatever. And they didn't use, it looks like the right font, but it's not. It could match better. And it's like these things that oh gosh. If you know, you know what I mean. It like drove me nuts seeing that as somebody that's kind of like OCD undiagnosed. I'm diagnosing myself. We're gonna look back and realize we're all clowns, to be frank. I agree with that. Oh, thank you, Primo. I try to be down the middle. I do. And even if I do seem like I feel strongly about something, I pretty much the only thing that I feel so strongly about that I would be like, you're wrong and I'm right if you don't agree with me is like children need to be left alone. Children need to be left alone. I do think it's weird that men prey on like 18-year-olds, and that's been normalized too, because that's a whole other conversation. But so, yeah, Tim, I mean, I meant to say Trump. I'm glad you're doing well, Tim. The way Trump, I remember seeing that clip of him saying about Epstein, he likes them very young, talking about women. And so now it's like now that like more and more has came to light, and I'm somebody that also thought Trump wasn't like that. He kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Trump doesn't drink. Trump doesn't party. Trump doesn't do coke. Like, sorry. Trump doesn't do snow like a lot of other guys in those circles. Trump's the upstanding citizen. And it's like, and and the people are like, he had failed businesses. It's like, well, everybody that has a lot of businesses, they fail sometimes. Everybody's filed bankruptcy that has any amount of businesses going on. That because it is kind of true. It is true, somewhat. That, like, there's always excuses to be made for him. And now that I've came done a 180, and I'm like, wow, that is so creepy how he was literally saying he likes them young, really young, or whatever he said. Oh, thank you, Off Grid Homesteading. If you're going, I hope you have a good night. And I don't Ford is now called the Trump Ford of Trump. Chevrolet is now called Trump Chevrolet of the Trump. Ford Mustang is now called Trump Mustang of Ford Trump of Trump. Thank you, Tim. 12 years old is the age of consent in Mexico. Get real, sister. Yeah, Richard, and I think that's horrible. What I don't know what you mean by hold on. What does that mean, Richard? Can you please explain to me? I hope you're still in here. What do you mean by that? And how am I supposed to take it? Are you saying I shouldn't be complaining about men preying on 18-year-old girls here? And having like countdowns until an underage girl turns 18, that shit isn't supposed to make me sick because down across the border there's 12-year-olds. I local neighborhood hater. Yeah, it was 12 years old here until like the late 1800s, I believe. It was a bunch of women that advocated to like raise the age of consent. And what is it? Is 16 as young as it gets here in the States? He does buckets of Sudafed. How does one bankrupt a casino? Esoteric. Well, yeah, and it's like I feel like people that get propped up, any one of us that was given millions of dollars by a daddy and several times in attempts, opportunities to fail or succeed, eventually we would end up with a lot of money, you know? And that's another thing we need to quit worshiping these people. Like somebody was telling me about how Elon Musk, I'm sorry, anytime anybody is going to say Elon Musk has not done anything. In my opinion, Elon Musk, he's just slapped his name on some patents. He's literally not invented anything. People think that he's done all this. And I'm like, what has he done? Everything he promises doesn't come to fruition. Literally everything, that Hyperloop thing, the semi trucks, the taxis, what else? Um, I can say, "Hi, soldada," in Brazil. I don't know, tornozelo, I can't say that. Big difference between 18 and 12, though, local neighborhood hater said. Well, yeah, I made a remark about that dude about blowing jobs, and it replied, and I censored it. Carrie said, "Dumpster diving pigeon. You ever had one of those ready-to-eat salads with pasta?" Yes, I have. Geeky. Can we talk about how the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is dating a 19-year-old girl? Is she an adult? Technically, yes, but she cannot buy alcohol. She cannot buy cigarettes or rent a car. Geeky zombie girl, are you serious? So can't trust 19-year-old girls to be responsible with cigarettes or alcohol or a vehicle. We believe the same 19-year-old has a mental capacity to stand on the same level as a 60-year-old man. No, I completely agree. Anthony Kiedis, he's always I shouldn't most rock stars. I went through a period where I couldn't listen to like Led Zeppelin. It was like so many people. What was it? Oh, I just remembered him. The Rob Dyke. He had a channel that kept getting taken down. Now I don't know if I'm subscribed to him, but he was a YouTuber that made a lot of those blind items where he's like uncovering, like people write in stories about creepers and like but give hints about who they are but don't say who they are. It's like this is an A-list celebrity that da, da, da. And like a lot of his videos were on musicians, and this is verified stuff too. A lot of it is just it's so sick. Talk about age of consent. They had like these young teenage girls following them around, and it's like couldn't even listen to half of my classic rock songs. Like, what's wrong with his father giving the money? Most of us would get the same if our fathers had it. Oh, Argilla, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't think that it should be praised that he ended up being successful after attempting to be successful with his dad's money. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people would be hardworking enough to local neighborhood hater. What did Elon do though? What has Elon done? He's bought things other people conceived already, bought them, put his name on him, and then made money off of it. He really genuinely hasn't done anything. And his SpaceX facilities, oh my gosh, now I forget the note. It's like crazy how many people get hurt there. It's not a safe place to work. It's several times more than the average. Somebody died there, which happens, like accidents happen. But I really don't like Musk. I feel like part his company takes 80 of all satellites to space. Yeah, so that's something that when he realized, and Bezos, when these guys, billionaire guys, realized that, oh, hey, there's only NASA's the only person to take the government's contracts when it comes to anything in space. I'm going to get in on that. That to me shows how they have too much money. They wanted the government contracts because it benefits them. He's not helping the rest of the world taking satellites up into space. You know what I mean? And it's like it shows how backwards the system is and how there's so much wealth concentrated into such few people's bank accounts. And I know it's like net worth and stuff. It's not literal $5 billion in his bank or whatever. But like because so many people have so much wealth and power, it turns into shit like this. That our own fucking government, because it is so corrupt, because the people with the power are lobbying the officials and like that we don't NASA doesn't have the ability to take our own satellites into space, and we are given some billionaire government contracts to do it. And it's interesting to me how him and Bezos both got into the space thing is because they have so much money, they didn't know what to do with it, and this is how they make as much as they can. Name one thing Elon invented, dumpster diving pigeon said. Thunderfoot, he's a great channel, and the foot is 0, so it's like Thunderfoot F00T. Great channel who's been doing, like, anti-Elon content, I think for 10 years. He was speaking out. I liked Elon. When he bought Twitter, I was all about it. And, Argilla, what do you wanna know about the not that I know. I don't know what to say about the Clintons. I definitely believe that they're corrupt. Oh, Shakir, that's so nice. Thank you. I definitely think that they're part of like the deep state. And I already mentioned this, but Clinton had it was his spokesperson, whoever that is, released a statement that was just saying like thank you to the DOJ for their investigation. And like that was so fishy to me. That was just them being like, yeah, we're not gonna get in trouble, even though like I'm in the files with the underage girl in my lap, you know. The crazies defend the 14-year-old relationship with the 50-year-old Trump by saying, well, at least they're not five. Who says it's gross? Travis Murphy, like Megyn Kelly? Oh my gosh, I know that's so disturbing. So disturbing. And like somebody just said that Anthony Kiedis thing. I've said this on my channel before. I don't love talking about it. Accidentally circumcised. What a weird name. I was in a sugar daddy relationship when I was 18. I was groomed and I was paying my own back child support. Okay. I paid all the bills for 2 years before I turned 18. The parent I lived with said all, so I know exactly what it's like to be groomed over a period of time, have certain things normalized, and then um be that young girl, and it's completely unnatural. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody really wants to do that unless you're sincere issues. And all the girls I met doing the same shit, they like one girl OD'd in a shower once at a party at the house I was at, and like I just walked into the bathroom and she's like on the shower floor and I didn't know what to do. They didn't call the cops. No, I didn't like ran and got somebody, and it's like the girl before me, she had OD'd and, died, and it's like, this is what happens when you're that 18, 19-year-old girl with somebody that's 2, 3 times older than you and that's what they do. You walk in the door and they ask you what you want. They're not talking about what to drink. They're asking you what your drug of choice is, and so me, I've just always been a pothead, honestly, and I didn't ever do hard rugs around. There was definitely those though. That always scared me because when I was 16, I had one bad experience, and I think that probably saved my life because there was so much, as you can imagine, Miami, you know what, there was a lot of, and 18, 21 and up clubs, they never carded. They didn't ever card. I went into so many clubs that were like 21 and up. They never ever carded. Walk right through the front door. Um, I drank at Madonna's club in South Beach when I was 16. My uncle bought me alcohol and handed it to me, and we were like sitting there drinking, obviously underage. There's so much that goes on. And so I learned quickly that like it's no kind of life. I don't care what kind of luxuries you have. I'd much rather have my cozy life with my husband that turns me on and has since the day I met him. I'm sorry, like the moment I laid eyes on him, I was like, oh, I want me some of that. And like that kind of attraction. And you can have that with an age gap. I do believe that. But like the imbalance of power is so real, and that is something I feel like some women, oh my god, it makes me want to cry. They fall into that. They don't know any better. They've never had anything different. They didn't have a stable father figure, and then they went searching for that, and they think they found it in this older man that has more stability for them, but they're always going to be under their thumb in a way that they don't realize, because that's just the way that they think all romance is. Oh, and, I've got insider info on Elon because my teacher was an early worker at the Gigafactory near me, and she said, "Dude talked about microdosing in the stock market a lot. Weird guy." Yes, I do think that his special K use is part of why he's acting differently. Carrie's been married 26 years in March. They make bank of government contracts. Yes. Minnowen. Middleman. Esoterica, I am reminded that Elon admitted to running an alt account dedicated to praising and defending himself, just saucing his own dog. Did you see how the 87-year-old author, I forget her name, how this woman, she said it perfectly. She read him. She was just like, how can the man with the most money in the world obviously not have like 1 ounce of joy in his life? You know? He's always just fighting with people online. Did you see that, Esoterica? And then they went back and forth, and she said something about him, like she doubts he reads books, and then he's like posting how he's reading the Odyssey, and he posted a picture of the Iliad. Yeah, but they gotta accept their age. A grown man can't live in the past, Echo Hammer said. Yes, age gaps can be taken so many different ways. I believe age is just a number, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to date someone that could be the age of one of my daughters. Yes, Diamond, right. That's what I was thinking. Like 10 years is nothing when you're like as old as us, right? Or it can be. It can be nothing. But like 40 years, I just don't believe in this day and age, no, that that's going to be conducive to a healthy relationship. Stopping us aid 700,000 died so far from it. Cool. Stopping US aid. Oh, Travis, yes. And that also affected a lot of farmers, right? Because wasn't it like a lot of farmers was who was a part of the program that was sending the food overseas? Yeah, Travis. That what did Steve Jobs make? Bo Rivers said. I don't know. I didn't. Did I claim Steve Jobs made anything? I think he is kind of one of those people that was in the right place at the same time. Um, Bless his heart. Start a new life with me. JK, just kidding. I know her husband on me. I think he went to bed, Mose. But yeah. He's a POS enemy of humanity, Travis said. Hey, I answered a direct query. Stay focused, Richard, Jennifer said. Greg, addiction is no laughing matter. People get pissed off because Charlie Kirk thinking common sense. Oh yeah, Greg, I'm sorry if I like giggle over something that's not funny. No, you're right. It's not. I think where most people are dependent on something, even if it's just your coffee in the morning, and it's sad. And ideally you wouldn't be dependent on any substance. And I couldn't imagine having all that money and I know there's benefits to ketamine. I do get that, but I don't think that anything is healthy to be using so much. And I'm not in his everyday life. I know I sound like I am. I'm not so sure I'd want to date a man that is the age of my parents either, but I come close to dating a man the age of my dad. So as to a man the age of one of my daughters. Right, Diamond? Yes, I feel the same way, right? Dating somebody significantly younger would just feel off. Minnow all the politicians and billionaires live completely different lives in comparison to us. Yes, Minnow. Hi, Khalid. How are you? Elon ended kids' cancer research grants, among others. Brian Hill, thank you. Yes. Who are you talking about, Raven? Really, Brian? Where are the millions bodies? Local neighborhood hater. That's been said by a lot of people. There's so much food that we used to send to people so they don't starve to death. And then they cut that out. And then even the farmers are like, what the fuck? This hurts us too over here on this end. And yeah, I've heard lots of people say that millions are probably I've seen one of my GFs OD before too. She didn't die. Oh, good, Diamond. I'm glad she didn't. It's so sad. And then I know a lot of people probably have no empathy for that and just be like, well, those girls don't have to be there. They don't have to be hanging out with rich men. They can just like get a job. And I get it. I understand having that. But I also understand what it's like to work 2 jobs, barely able to make your rent, and to have people this isn't a good enough excuse. This was a thought process at the time. And I think this is why a lot of people turn to OF and stuff. They're like, gosh, I just have people constantly DMing me, asking me for my nudes all day, anyways, on social media. Might as well make some money from it. And I'm not saying that that is right. I understand the thought process. I, as an 18-year-old girl who was working 2 jobs, second, third shift jobs, and like dealing with like the harassment of men. And then I had this other guy in my ear saying, like, like somebody like you could actually like make money. I'll be like, you're just like dating around anyway. And yeah, that's why a lot of people I feel like this is so normalized and just try to tell any young person I can, like, don't the way like sending naked pictures has been normalized. That's so sad. Americans cry when you kill cartels is pathetic, Hans said. Where are you from, Hans? I be 25, but I've been with chicks younger than me and chicks in their 40s older, preferably. They have their own moolah usually. Minnow. Flash gaming, you're in Kentucky too. Cool. How are you? Thank you, Corey. Minnesota, of course. Or I don't know. Min, of course. You're saying to Miniman. Miss payment. Boom. Gotta pay more now. Less money for you. Good thing you struggle already. The well off don't worry about missing payments, so they save the overdraft fee support. Right. Right, Travis. We got this is like the 10th time I brought this up on my channel. If you're still in here, Travis. Yeah, you are. We got a like $300 like fee for being chronically late on our power. This was years ago in Indiana. We weren't even shut off for being chronically late. We got a $300 security deposit tagged on it when we had been in that house in the same address for years. And there's nothing wrong with getting your power turned off. I'm just saying we had literally never got our power shut off once. I was in shock. And it's like, so then we had to like go get a payday loan or something like that to even make that. Then we were in a bind, right? Then we had to pay more than that $300, right? Because we had to go take a loan out and pay the fee. And oh my gosh, it's like shit like that. Everything is like and then the rich people with their good credit scores, they can like go buy a car cash, but they still get like 0% interest even when they finance it. And, I'm 30. I was with a 40-year-old, Hans said. That's cool. I don't think that that's, we're talking about a 40-year age gap. That's where I start like, there's just nothing going on there. But, an older person wanting a young hot body. I'm sorry. That's all. There's nothing. And then you start to see this is what happens to a lot of men, not all. Of course, the ones that are the good men that are like hermits that go want to be like monks because they have money, they don't have to work and they're going to go like live their lives quietly. We're not ever going to hear from them, right? Like I do know that not all wealthy men turn into shit, but obviously a lot of them do. And that's uh, now with my age, I look at a person's heart and soul more than their looks overall. Diamond said, yes, Minnow. It's like 40% across the board, one or two missed payments away from poverty. Yes, Minnow. It's so sad. I know how I feel, like, I have anxiety and, like, if we don't have a few $100s and I have to make a trip, I'm like, "What if I get a flat tire?" We don't even have money to, like, tow my car and get a tire, you know what I like, stuff like that, it's like, you're in a your your whole nervous system is affected, and I feel like there's like different societies simultaneously taking place, and I've had periods of my life where I didn't have to worry about money for a little bit, like, like when we sold our house and like, but even then it was like we were living in a hotel room and it was like so expensive and I'm like just cringing thinking about that. But the few times where I'm like, everything's fine. We don't have to worry. We can pay our bills for like a few months even. It is literally like a different life, and that's what they experience. They don't maybe I mean, I think some of them do realize, of course, that's what they do to people. Microdosing would put a stop to what, Richard? Elon is on ketamine. Yes, Hans. When police comes, I show like three what, FC? Brother doesn't even play his own video games. Esoterica, oh my gosh. You guys are reminding me of so much. Yes, he faked that. Like, so how do you explain a man who's people already call him a genius? And I said this, that's what somebody I don't I hope they didn't unsubscribe because it was somebody I did like talking to, but they were like, he's a genius or something. I'm like, he is a bumbling idiot. How can you think that he is a genius? I'm sorry. See, then I feel like a bitch. That was so mean. But that's just how I feel. It's like this was like 2019, 20. He's probably been on the sauce way longer than we know. Probably more than anybody ever has, because nobody has the ability to get hooked up the way that he does and has. Brian has green hair and a nose ring, local neighborhood hater. That's silly. Hans, I don't know what flag that is. Hans, I wish I did. Mike, hello from Ohio. How are you? Primo, that's funny. I'm a lioness. Are you talking to me? Hans is, of course, a Russian bot. That's Russia. Oh my gosh, I should know that. I'm fine with Russian bots. Things could be worse than a Russian bot. I have a crippling dependency to oxygen, Minomin. You called her a furry water mammal, Travis said. Local neighborhood hater, he's not a Russian bot, he's just a troll. Hans, get more propaganda in your American life. Oh gosh, Hans, I think we have enough of that. I think that's the problem. I think not enough people live real lives. I live near a lot of Amish people, and I don't think we should be the Amish, but I think we need to start living more like them to have any chance in hell. Well, so anyone who is Russian nowadays is a bot. You people are pathetic. No, Hans, I think that was a joke. I don't think you're a bot, Hans. I actually really like watching content. I follow a few Russians. Not you. Somebody in the chat was making fun of Charlie for an overdose, Greg said. Oh, yeah, the way that are you talking about how Charlie said that about George Floyd? He died from a fentanyl overdose. Uh, I was in love with a man years ago. He was close to 10 years younger than me. I did have more in common with him, but he passed away. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Diamond. That's always so tough when somebody's gone. It was 600K dead in September. It was a bad year for famine too, Brian Hill said. Blues music, hello from Louisville. Hey, Blues, how are you in Louisville? Travis, yes, Brian, the trumpet is an enemy of humanity for real. Um, could be working in New York City making 100K a year, paying 5K a month for rent and an okay apartment, still have no dough after tax and payments, right? It's crazy. It's not right. I mean, even like I was saying it it's like we used to like, we live on one income and we're used to it. Like for a long, long time we had one car. Like how many families do you know that have one car? I know some do, but like for 15 years we had one car, right? And like um and now I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, but we used to be able to like save for a little family, we like this one water park in French Lick, Indiana. We'd go there for like a weekend, like 2 nights, 3 days. And, like, it wasn't hard to do that. It was something we had to plan ahead for, you know? And now it's like, can't even do that, and it just makes me sad to think about how many people are missing out on experiences. Indiana's a horrible place to live. Don't go across the river, please. Blues, you sound like me. I don't wanna alienate anybody from Indiana, but trust me, Blues, I don't think I'll ever I feel like I have a hair in my mouth. I don't think I ever wanna move back there. And the people in Kentucky are so much nicer, in my opinion. There are plenty of nice people in Indiana, but it's like across the board, nice people everywhere you go here. It's like a hit or miss in Indiana. I don't know what's the deal with so many people. I don't know where they think they live, but they're kind of stuck up if you ask me. Said it. And then there's some really cool places, but a lot of Indiana is just so flat. And I've noticed this even in the winter time here, it's beautiful. Even in the dead of winter, there's still a lot of colors. I chalk it up to the change in elevation. There has to be something about that because in Indiana, when it's in the dead of winter, everything's brown. It's literally brown. That's all it is. It's like dead looking trees, brown, dead, everything. Here, there's still like lots of like orange and yellow and red. I don't know. Um, Talix, that's funny. Want to be Minecraft without the craft. I'm married. William, ask the questions no one has asked. Where are the parents in all this? How did the parents not know where the kid was as those kids went to an island for how long the school finds out first? William, you're right. Maybe I should make a video just about that topic. So this is how I look at it. No, Arlo, I'm not high. There's obviously there's a lack of parental supervision in most of these cases. A lot of the Epstein victims were 18 and 19-year-olds that did live on their own. They were trying to be models in New York City. Oh my gosh, I bet he had like so much supply there in that regards. You're a struggling model or actress and you have somebody, oh, this guy, like he has a lot of money and like he wants to help you out. He has connections and you go to his apartment and it's obviously this ritzy place and it's like automatically you are like once again, if this was a guy in a single wide trailer, you'd snuff it out immediately. But classism is like that. Wealth gives people status in a certain kind of way. They charge you extra fees too for everyday registration on any recreational vehicles, boats, or other vehicles is late every day. Right? Blues music. And then like you can have a huge corporation like Amazon and not pay any income tax or federal taxes or whatever it was. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Oh, Anthony, that was so nice. Thank you, Anthony. William, she has already talked about that earlier in past lives. Ooh, what did William ask? Oh, yeah. I was already talking about that. Overall, the most important things to me in a relationship is honesty, trust, communication, respect, loyalty, reassuring love language. I can't do long distance relationships no more, so I mostly look at personalities. Yes, for sure, Diamond. Oh, Mike, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. I hope you stick around. I talk about all sorts of stuff. No, I do have, I noticed my eyes look kind of red. I put my contacts in. Oh, thank you. Skip a, I don't know what your name, I forget your name. Skip Dog 5073. Thank you for sending the New Year's Eve. That was cool. I noticed my eyes are kind of bloodshot and I don't know why because I waited till 7 p.m. to put in my contact lenses. But whatever. Challenge of keeping up, Echo Hammer. That's funny. Straight up Amish people are awesome. Yeah, I just mean like not everybody has to live like them for the religious reasons. But if we could be more self-sustainable, that's even if you yourself don't want to garden, if you just support the people near you that do. I'm not a very materialistic woman, shiny jewelry, flashy cars don't mean much to me at all. Me either, Diamond. I think that's a Kentucky thing. Great stream. I'm a skedaddle. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you, Minnow Man. I hope you have a good night. I hope you sleep well whenever you go to sleep. I'm just trolling around. I don't even get paid for being the boss troll. Makes me sad, Travis. Red Bull girl, Kentucky girl here. I saw the name and wanted to say hi and show support. Oh, thank you. You have a good evening too. Red Bull girl. Is black people allowed to what? Black people are allowed to do whatever. I would assume you're saying, yeah, I live close to Evansville, bad deals. Oh, Red Bull girl, you're way western. I've never been that far west in Kentucky. I've never been farther west than Bowling Green. Indiana only sells warm beer. Oh yeah, Echo Hammer, you reminded me. I've never heard anything good about Indiana Sebastian. I know, I don't know what it is. It's just weird. Now, Indiana has the largest children's museum. I have to say something nice about it. The Indianapolis Children's Museum is the largest children's museum in the whole world, and it really is amazing. And if you ever have the opportunity to go to it, I think even adults would have fun at it. It's such a good museum. Losing your train of thought is okay, but I really need to talk to you about your extended auto warranty. I'm from Maine. Oh, Travis, I would miss the lobster too. We considered Maine, but their VACCINE exemption laws are crazy. And just so everybody knows, a lot of parents that they just don't choose to go on the crazy CDC schedule. It doesn't mean they don't get their kids anything at all. We are super nice in Kentucky. We try to be mannerly. Yes, Red Bull girl. I've had Kentucky family move to Indiana, probably for jobs, right, Diamond? Esoterica, with older men seeking younger partners, there's an echoing effect where older women try to appear young through various methods, while younger girls are developing earlier a fear of wrinkles. Yeah, Esoterica. And they play off all of it. I heard Jack Daniels shut down. I heard that, was it that some big bourbon maker, Jack Daniels is whiskey, isn't it? Shut down for a year, but and I didn't think it was Jack Daniels. It was another big one though, because of the tariffs and the sales are so bad overseas. So see, we're not gonna like really see the effects. So I kind of wonder that, like when we got the stimulus, I know I'm such a Debbie Downer, but when we got the stimulus, everybody said this is printing off money, it's gonna add to the inflation, it's gonna hyperinflate the economy. And they were right, seemingly. And so now this is like the dividends from the tariffs. So it's not like they're printing money off for it. But is this it's like it's like things are gonna get worse and worse, so we're gonna throw a little bit of money at you, just like during COVID. Yeah, I'll take $2,000. Anybody could use an extra $2,000 right now, but they're doing it because they know they're like throwing a wrench in it seems like all the weird stuff happens in Indiana and Ohio. Yeah, a lot of stuff does. A lot of astronauts are from Ohio in particular, right? I've always thought that was interesting. Like the woman thought she was dating someone else, slept with another woman. She found out hates me for months now, is more cordial. Is she done with me? Okay, Johnny, you're saying you liked a woman, thought she was dating someone else, so you slept with another woman, and then you found out she found out the first woman found out hates you and now is more cordial. Is she done with me? But she's more cordial with you. Just talk. Communication is the best, and just to say, like how you just said, if this is true, just say what you just said. Hey, can we talk about something? When I slept with that person, I thought that you were doing your own thing, and I'm really sorry if that affected you, and I want to make it right. How can I make it right? In my opinion, when a woman or man is seeking out a younger person on purpose, that's when it gets iffy, questionable, like there might be some red flags there. Yes, definitely, Diamond. And these people that get to this, and I think it's going to be more and more like this. I don't know how to say it. There's going to be less actual smart people rise to the top. It's just the nature of it. Because now the people making the connections, it's harder than ever to climb up the economic ladder to your own merits, your own talents, and your own smarts. And it's like all about who you know. And now that our government and the whole world is run by, and like all the people that are the top CEOs, I'm not saying all 100%, but for the most part, it's about who you know and the connections you have. And this is only going to lend to um and somebody had a word for it. I don't think it was technocracy. When when we go from the smartest minds running the show to the opposite of that. And it's like, it doesn't happen overnight. This is kind of like how it happens. And it's like people like Abraham Lincoln, not saying he was a perfect person, but when most people stand, he was very smart and like honorable in a lot of ways. And we looked up to people like him. There are less of those, and now here we have Trump. I wish I had enough sugar to be a sugar mommy, New Jersey. Why do you think that's funny? That throws off red flags in my mind. What did you say? LOL to Diamond saying even dating. Oh, even dating is so much harder on women than men, especially if you have girl children. You have to be extra cautious. I've had some freaky men be into me over my daughters. Oh, that's so sad, Diamond. I'm glad you caught on to that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that isn't funny. I don't think it's funny. And the number one, the most, the biggest threat to a child is a non-biological parent inside the home. So it is something like everybody should. My grandpa worked with juvenile delinquents, and he said every single girl had the same story. Every single girl had the same story where her mom's boyfriend wouldn't leave her alone. And she, started getting into trouble, running away and stuff. David Letterman was a weatherman in Indiana. He used to combine Ohio and Indiana on the weather map. He said it should be one state. Primo, that's so funny. I didn't know that about him. He's also one of those people that's so disappointing the more you find out about him. I used to love David Letterman, and now I found out, he's also another example of, like, I don't know. I don't have a favorite energy drink, Adam. I Kratom, I guess. Um, it's just so disappointing, and I think, and I try to say this and try to be like polite about it. I do believe our sexual energy is quite possibly our greatest energy. You know what I'm talking about. That doesn't mean your life should revolve around it, but it means as strong and powerful as it can be. And that's why they dampen it. That's why they encourage casual sex because, like, they know how powerful it can be. And I think that that's like the power that is wanted by a lot of people. It's creepy. As somebody that has a good sex life with my husband of 15 years, I just couldn't imagine my life revolving around sexual escapades. Like, uh, did you guys see the picture of the massage table with a bunch of masks? It was like creepy and like goofy looking faces hung on the wall. It's just, hi Texan, how are you? Peace I leave with you, may peace. Oh, I already read that before. Thank you, Anthony. That is sweet. They scaled down production. They didn't shut down. John Killuminati said, "Thank you for saying that, John." Now, I know it wasn't the whiskey. Oh, there was something. It wasn't big bourbon. It wasn't Maker's Mark. And I was thinking that is a pretty big deal if they just are building a new distillery that looks like a freaking museum. It's like glass. The whole front of it is just, it's like a wall of glass in Springfield. I'm assuming it's a distillery. What else would they be building that looks like that in Springfield, Kentucky? If you guys didn't know, Springfield is so freaking small. They're so small. They don't have a Walmart. That's how I judge. towns. If you're so small you don't have a Walmart, that's like a small town to me. I know a lot of people would probably think like our town is small, but it has a Walmart. All Letterman. Yes, here you know how much money you have. It should scare people in all the ways when you start seeing celebrities making social media channels. Like, why do they need the extra money or the attention time? I don't know. I feel the same way, Diamond. That's how I get over like people throwing money at Candace Owens and her saying she doesn't have enough money for security. Like, are you kidding me? You don't have enough money for security. You just made millions and millions of dollars in 3 months. Most of us don't have enough money to pay our bills and eat. And then she's like, ugh. And, like, the Ballerina Farms lady, she fundraised for her sick dad. I know that's horrible. He passed away from cancer, but it's like you're married to a billionaire's family, and people are like, just because this is how warped people's brains are. There's always going to be somebody just because they're related to a billionaire doesn't mean he has to give them any money. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. No, I think if you're married into a billionaire's family, you shouldn't ever ask the regular working American citizen for money ever. No, you shouldn't ever be asking anybody for money ever. And like that's the attitude people have when it comes to money. I can't stand that. And when people try to say when they are really wealthy, like Shaq, I think said it, my money isn't my kids' money. They know it's not their money. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's like a poor person's mindset. It is. When you really have real generational wealth, you're not sitting around talking about this is all my money, not my kids' money. And I swear to God, they do that shit on purpose to brainwash the rest of us, to try to get us to all have this attitude about like that's their money and their money only. And like, once you have so much fucking money, what good does it do unless you can help your family out generationally? Like, why else would you even bother? Eh, oh, and I just think that's part of the illusion. No, I've never heard of Ram Ranch. What is it, Jordan? Didn't they say their inventory was too big? I don't know, Ford. I need to look into whatever whiskey or bourbon. Can we talk about the economical state of the government? Finn, bring up whatever specific topic you want. I am going to be going soon. It was a dentist chair, not a massage table. Thank you for saying that, Brian Hill. Okay. Oh, that's so creepy. That's extra creepy. I've seen all sorts of medical tools on like Amazon. It freaks me out. I hate to even think that, but like, people are buying those tools that shouldn't be. Martin said my mom grew up in Springfield. That's so cool, Martin. I love that area. Not trying to be mean at all. A real question. Where you are a pretty girl, have you ever had men in the past to fool you like they would get to you into them and then turn completely around, start on the gay crap? Diamond said, Diamond, I mean, I've only had, I've been with my husband since I was 18, you know what I mean? And yes, we did separate a few times. But no, honestly, I just like I've I know it sounds like a monkey branch thing. I've just always had somebody that was like really into me, and then I went out with them until it fizzled out. You know what I mean? Brian Hill. But like I said, I've been with the same person practically since I was 18. Well, bourbon and whiskey distilleries are shutting down because Canada does a better job of boycotting than we do. Brian, I like that answer. I don't like it for us, but you're right. Like saying, "Hey, Will suck my friends off and wants to do three ways with other men." Oh, Diamond, that's awful. So the one, and I brought this up on my channel. We were separated for 13 months. Me and my husband. I had my own apartment. We had our divorce agreement written up, a divorce mediator going back and like we were going to get divorced. And I honestly think it was because I did start dating this other guy that made my husband wake up. And I'm not saying that's right. I wish I hadn't dated him. Honestly, I really wish I hadn't. Uh, but it was a touch of kind of what you're saying, Diamond. This guy, I told my husband, "I'm dating somebody else now," and he was, like, devastated. I'm like, "We're breaking up, and we've been apart for months and months and months," and, like, I'm like and I've been alone for so long. I pulled that shit. "I've been alone for longer than the last 13 months." You know what I mean? I tried to play that. And now, honestly, now me in my 30s, I wouldn't do that. I honestly, I wouldn't. But I was in my 20s. It was somebody I had known since I was a kid, and it was like weird shit, as the actual shit I didn't want to do. And I was like, no, I'm too old for this shit. And then he's like, if you're not going to do it, I'm like, okay. Just like, that was one thing. And then he's showing me his phone. And yes, I don't like talking about this as a married woman, but he was like, showing me something funny on his phone, and then a Tinder notification popped up. And like we had made an agreement, like we were dating exclusively. And I was like, okay, you need to answer. I literally pushed him out my apartment. I literally pushed him. I opened my front door and pushed him out of my apartment. And I was like, go answer your Tinder. And I just kept repeating it over and over. And he was like, "Woo, woo, woo." I was like, go answer your Tinder message. You need to answer your Tinder message. You need to answer your Tinder message. I was just like, and that was the only taste I got of dating in this, and that's all I needed. And, yeah, and then he was literally crying to me, literally cried to me. He's one of these guys that has, like, at the time, I only knew about 3, but he has, like, literally 5 or 6 baby mamas. I'm not kidding. He's obviously has daddy issues himself, and, he was all about, like, father's rights. I better shut up for some I don't think he has an and one of those guys that talks about how he doesn't get to see his kids, and meanwhile, he's, like, getting women pregnant on purpose and, like, purposely not getting in contact with them till they're 4, because at least in the age of Kentucky, you don't have to pay retroactive child support after the age of 4. Like, if you just decide to get in your child's life after the age of 4, it'll only retro date to, like, 4 years of age, so, um, is somebody see, somebody's talking a who is talking about my teeth now? And I was like, I don't think they're like that. You guys don't understand. I had like he like drilled before he put the veneers on like these like pits on the top of my front teeth. And then when the veneers popped off, they're like literal pits, like dark, like not black, but like dark. Like and it hurt so bad. I was pregnant. I couldn't do anything about it. But anyways, so after going through all of that and having like this tooth removed and shards of tooth come out of my gum for days, that was brutal. And no, I'm just glad my teeth don't hurt, honestly. Yes, I have a husband. I've been with him for 15 years. Sin always leads to pain. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, the light, and through his sacrifice, we are offered the gift of eternal life. Savage Daddy, I appreciate that. I just don't feel it in my heart, you know? And one day I might feel that in my heart. I believe in Jesus. I believe in a God. I just don't believe that what happened to Jesus happened and like our sins and stuff. I really don't buy into women's pain and menstruation and childbirth pain is because Adam convinced or Eve convinced Adam to eat the apple. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I respect anybody that does. And if you feel that in your heart, the closest I've gotten to being like, oh my gosh, I know this is truth. Nobody can even like tell me anything else. This is truth. Is when I heard about the Sumerian tablets. That was the only like it was like, is this what people feel like when they read the Bible or hear about like the Christian God? Where I was like, I know where the world runs in cycle, it starts off female dominant. The perfect mixture is in between male and female, and towards the end of the cycle, it is male dominant, and it describes like how, in what ways this happens, and it's like, what's going on right now? And that was the only time I ever felt like no, you need to atone, Thomas. Hi, Patrick. No, I didn't do it either, but it always happens the same way. They start off being the most kindest men, then they start sliding into these creepy, crazy off the rocker out of nowhere comments. Yes, Diamond. That is what happened with this guy that I'm talking about. It was like total love bombing. I think that he did it on purpose. He even had like I like to do the certain craft. And when I went to his house for the first time, he had the exact same craft. Okay, it's kind of it wasn't like a coloring book, it was kind of a unique thing. I think he asked my friend at the time things about me and tried to love bomb me with it, looking back on it. I honestly do, because now I'm like, he did that fucking thing and had that craft out on purpose. I mean, like, stuff like that, and then it was the creepy sex stuff. Once it was like, "We're falling hard for each other," it's like the creepy sex stuff, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I miss my husband." And I guys started telling me about how he used to have orgies. I was like, what am I already had the high risk HPV at this point, but it was protected. But still, I was like, who am I? What risk am I putting myself at? And then, I'll just be honest since we're all friends here. It was the anal stuff. What is the deal? No, no. Why is that so normalized? No, like that was so normalized on us and our generation. I don't know why. I can't explain it well myself, but I don't know of any woman. Okay, I've known of one woman my whole life that said that she liked that. And then me and the other woman with her were like, oh, I'm sorry. No. We would be lost without good, brilliant, loving women like you. Oh, Kevin, after what I just said. So sweet. Whoa, you women out your tree. Imagine some of the things us men have to listen to. Dems tears taste. Imagine some of the things we have to listen to. Y'all are the ones that commit 93% of violent crime. God. That's what me and Diamond are talking about. We're just sitting here trying to be good women, trying to be loving, share some loving moments with another human being. And then they're like, hey, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like nothing's ever good enough with certain men. And that's really hard as a woman. I know some men feel like that with women sometimes, but let's see. I'm getting caught up. My experience, some women are into it, some simply aren't, Sebastian said. Yeah, it must be. Matt Acoustic, we're just talking about how weird SE stuff is often brought up and shoved upon women. Like it's just normal nowadays. It's just normal, and it shouldn't be. And the picture exchanging also concerns me. Like I think we need to teach young people, especially with AI now. It's kind of like, oh gosh, like it'd be so easy to make fakes. It's unfortunate. But we need to like teach young people to like don't do no, don't put that stuff out there. It's just crazy thinking about that's like what they do first before they even go on a date. They like ask for nudes. That's crazy to me. And it's because of the way we grew up, because of the last like 20, 30 years. And I'm the same way. As soon as they start that crazy stuff, I'm like, oh heck no. Diamond said, yeah, they're trying to see who's going, they just come out there with it because they know you're either going to be like, no, or you will. And it's, oh my gosh, I just couldn't imagine my life revolving around that. It was like really pushed in adult media, wasn't it, Travis and everybody else? It was pushed on us in adult media. It was. In my opinion, I'm sorry, men are built differently. We don't get off from that. And it's like, it's kind of funny to me that men do, and then adult media, and then you have a CEO of Cornhub saying one of his favorite things to do was try to change men's sexuality. So I just think that's all really interesting. But so yeah, I heard after that, he's literally went from having 3 baby moms to 5 in, like, a few years after that? And anyways, like, just he was a person that I said was letting people in his house, and he had 2 little girls. And I told him, "You need to quit letting strange men you barely know in the same house as your little girls." And he said, "Well, if they ever did anything to them, I would kick their ass and they know it." And I said, "But the damage would be done. Don't you understand that? You have little girls." And like there was this guy that was like crashing that had nowhere else to go. It was like it was just not a good situation. And like you should not be no, no. Martin Rogers, law enforcement officer or lion? What are you talking about? My name is Lance. I'm a Leo, I'm a god said. Oh, that's cool, Lance. How are you? I was told she's AI. I'm not AI. Tell me to say potato and I'll say potato. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That guy that makes the funny Tinder songs? It's like Elizabeth, say potato, say potato. You know what I'm talking about? Once I start with that, it always goes to the guy on guy three ways. Diamond, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, Diamond, you just reminded me. He tried to get me to do that too. Oh my God. Okay, this is how ignorant I am. He like has me come over and there's like see, I feel disrespectful talking about this, honestly. I'm probably gonna like private this because like I am married and I put myself in my husband's shoes. Like, would I want my husband to sit here and talk about the last girlfriend he had? But then again, he doesn't have a YouTube he's been on for 3 hours either. But um, he had me. He had this other couple over, and he's like, "Well, why don't you come over? It'll be fun." I was like, "Okay." And like they were like dancing. I'm not a big dancer. I have to be like drunk. With a bunch of other people, there I go dancing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't dance in the living room with a few other people. I could, but like, I didn't know these people. Anyways, I'm just saying I'm a little shy and introverted, right? And like basically a few hours later, he ends up telling me, Or like they go and do their own thing. They go to a club. I'm like, I don't feel like going to a club. The three of them go to a club, and he tells me the next day they're trying to look for somebody to have a foursome with because I obviously wasn't down. I'm like, what the fuck? Why couldn't you just say something? I would have said no. But like, why can't you just say something instead of like being all creepy and trying to feel like because that's part of the perversion. That's where like feeling like you're getting one over on somebody. And it's like, oh my God, I could never settle down with a man that I felt like was like that because then your whole life, you're like, what is he doing with his dick? Because you always know he's like, his goal in life is to be, um, if you're a woman with girls in the dating market, you should be more diligent about vetting men. If you're a woman, you mean if you're a woman? Oh, Sebastian, I know the pick better. Sebastian, I like you. So I don't mean this like, but like it's just so much of that pick better. You should pick better. What about telling men they need to start being people that aren't horrible? What about that? Women are picking better, and that's why the birth rate is plummeting. So, but I do agree. You have to be so careful. And like this person, I thought I knew him. I knew him really well, or I had, and it was another example of like you should always focus on yourself and try to build your own life up as much as you can. Hello, miss. My stomach is bubbling right now. What do I do? Directions from algae. You got any Pepto? What woman wants to be with a man who wants that from another man? It screams so many issues to me, right, Diamond? Potatoes, Greg Anderson. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The guy that takes the funny back and forths, it's like DMs and turns them into songs. And he's the guy that made the I have I have one daughter. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Look up I have one daughter song. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I promise it's worth it. You can't go into the new year without having heard this song. Okay, I got a weird question. If I'm illegal and my people been here 80,000 years, where do I get deported to? Travis Murphy. Well, if you wouldn't be illegal if that was the case. But yeah, I know immigration is a very tricky topic. I'm sorry for making you feel uncomfortable. Diamond, you're not. You're not making me uncomfortable. I just me getting like the ick thinking about it. You're not doing anything. I don't know why anybody listens to this, Rel. Your people aren't you, wherever you walked in here from, Gerald said. Diamond, you don't make me feel uncomfortable, nope, Travis said. Diamond said, Sebastian, I try my best. It's very hard being a single woman, especially with girls, it's so hard. Yes, I'm just try to be yourself and feel it out. You ask, how do you ask somebody you like? You just try to feel that shit out before you say anything. Make yourself feel dumb. I'm your huckleberry. Oh, that's funny, Wilbert. That definitely isn't why the birth rate is going down. Gerald, why do you think it's going down? Enlighten us. Men are definitely people and should be better, but as a parent, it is should the responsibility to protect them. Same goes for men. Oh, I see what you mean, Sebastian. I read your comment, funny, talking about women, and no, I agree with you. If I had daughters, oh my gosh, I would be in repeating this on like you can't just say things once. You have to reinforce things with your kids a lot. DJ King of the King's favorite musical. Oh gosh, The Sound of Music. I know that's like probably what most people would say. I noticed my friend is into a lot of women staring. Is that okay? I do the same. Jane Doe, are you talking about is staring at women okay? Is that what you mean? I'm married, Patrick. My friends say crush likes me, so I should say something. If they've been told that they like you, then they probably do. Thank you, Devin. I am married. Too many people are told the world is too bad to bring children into this world. Oh, yeah, Gerald. Do you disagree? I never thought I would say that to my own sons, but I even have said to my own 16-year-old recently, because I haven't been around my 18-year-old for a few months, like, really be so careful because this world, you do not want to bring a kid on accident into this world. Oh my God. This is wild and way off topic question. Learning to bake for my kids. Wife passed a couple years ago and I just made a Kentucky transparent pie. Didn't turn out quite right. Any good tips? I don't even know what that is. Onward. But good for you. As long as it tastes good. Puff Daddy is why the birth rate is going down, Greg Anderson said. If there's a goalie, it doesn't mean you can't score. One said, I'm just going to call you one. Looking is okay. Staring is creepy. Yeah, Martin, that's a good answer. One eye at you and one eye looking at you. He can sneak out anytime. Show off. What's wrong with your eye? Oh god, I did notice it, like I told you guys some days it's extra, and I did notice that today. I was like, "Oh god, here we go." And you guys can see like my older videos, you can see what I'm talking about. Like my eyes weren't as asymmetrical. I think they always were a tad because everybody has asymmetry to their faces. Tinder is a dating app, Travis. I'm 38, Jessica. Yeah, I've never been on Tinder. It was this guy that I was dating, and yeah, thought that was pretty funny. Talk about coincidences. That wasn't a coincidence. I saw his Tinder notification on the screen. I don't feel like most women are like men though when it comes to dating, and maybe because I'm old fashioned, but I'm not the type of woman that just starts talking about SEXual stuff to men first. Right, Diamond. No, I think, and I'm in Southern Kentucky. You love it here. Cool, Noel. That's so cool. I love it here too. I'm in South Central. No, I completely agree, Diamond. And I'm not saying this to take accountability off of women. I really don't. I think it's 50-50, really. But like women are kind of just like going along to get along with a lot of the SE actual stuff. Like most women aren't built like that. And like the women that do act like that, it's like they're broken. And I don't mean that like damaged goods broken. I mean that like you have to be broken inside to operate like that. And I don't think it's healthy for men either. It's not healthy for anybody to sleep around. And the way that the sexual revolution normalized and even made it seem empowering, not just normal, it's empowering to act like a man. That shit's like Sex in the City shit. It's like I didn't have good guidance. That's why I have both high risk types of HPV. 80% of cervical cancer caused by these two types of HPV. I have them both. I have both of the worst types of HPV a person can have. Both of them. So that's another reason I shouldn't smoke, like um in that's another reason I'm outspoken about it, because if I could help anybody make better choices. Hi, Bedouin, how are you? From Ireland. Am I saying that right? Bay, Bay, Baydian, Bowdian. I'm not going to be able to say that right. I'm married too, Patrick said. I look good for my age, Alicia. Thanks. No, thanks. I stay away from Tinder. Good, Jane. And what I've heard is just a cesspool, and there's a lot of people that get, taken advantage of. There's people that are going to other countries now that make a sport out of going to get women in other countries using Tinder, and a lot of them are getting robbed. Oh my gosh. I talk about all sorts of stuff. Oh my gosh. I was talking about Epstein earlier. I'm all over the place. I'm not most people's cup of tea, Sebastian. I think saying Tinder is a dating app is a massive stretch. It's notorious for hookups. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I have known a few people that got married because of Tinder, but you're right. But no one knows we're winging it. Yeah, Travis is right. Oh, thank you, one. People either tell me I have pretty eyes or my eyes are messed up. It's funny. You should be a speed reader for radio commercials, Primo. I am a fast reader. That's one thing that makes me good at lives. That guy, I said no, Travis said. Woo woo, HPV, I just got here. Yeah, I don't think a Chris is here. Never by, I don't know what that is. Are you talking about foreskin storm? I know what a mole is. Did you guys know that there's some that have this ritual where they put their mouth on the little baby boy's penis? No, I'm kidding. After they're circumcised, the guy puts his mouth to to get the blood off. This is something that happens because of religious freedom. And little boys have gone blind because these fucks have like herpes or whatever, and it gets in their bloodstream. And the little boys get affected for the rest of their lives because some old fuck had to put his mouth on their junk in the name of religion. That's just, it's so fucking warped. That is not all Jewish circumcisions. It's like Orthodox, I think. Ah, this is just. Ah. Did you guys know? I actually got lucky, met my husband on Tinder. Cool, Jessica. Did you guys know there was a paper, several academics, like 20 some academics, standing behind female genital mutilation, saying why we shouldn't give it such a bad rap because it'll make women feel bad. And I said, "Are they trying to normalize what they do to little boys here?" And then I got attacked in the comments because people took that as me saying we should normalize what we do to little boys. How do you take that? My first thought was, are they trying to normalize what we do to little boys here? And they're like, yeah, but it shouldn't be. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry. I do know of 2 couples that did get married off dating sites, though. I met my husband on MySpace with the Guild, my guy. What, Travis? Hey, sister, how are you? I just joined. God bless. Oh, Aubrey, thank you. I'm doing good. How are you? I met a girl on Tinder and got herpes. If you're being serious, Gooey, I'm sorry about that, but I have a feeling you're not. But I'm sure that's happened a lot. Oh my gosh. It's so sad. I think the thank you everybody for the nice comments. The STDs and STI rates are like skyrocketing. It's horrible. Y'all ever heard of the dead internet theory? Yes, up dog funk. I believe in the dead internet theory. And for those of you that don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, up dog, if you're still in here, it's basically saying that, like, it's been so manipulated and contrived that, like, the internet is just what you wanna see. It used to be more like a wild, wild west, and I totally believe that. I remember when we first got the internet and, like, how MySpace in particular was, and you got to make, like, your own website and put in the, like, the codes to do whatever you wanted with your site, and then it was, like, what, around, like, 2012, right? Everything went white. Now, like, everything is literally, like, white, no personality, and, very, very contrived. I know a few co oh, I already read that. Diamond said, "I've never heard of that." Oh my gosh. The yeah, it is crazy, and I'm pretty sure, oh gosh, I wanna say it was illegalized. I hope it was, because this was something that happened mostly in New York City. There's a bunch of Orthodox Jews, and I go, "Ah, okay. That's not in the name of religion, but that's just being creepy." Right, Aubrey? Yes. The extreme people always ruin it for the rest, right? Trump went to Epstein Island. Moose, yeah, I bet he did. You guys see, like, just so somebody bought that island? Why the heck would you buy that island? And, like, don't tell me things they probably aren't stupid enough to do in the same island. There's actually somebody that's making content that used to live near it and still has family that lives near it, and she was, like, talking about certain things, like, there's, like, plastic cows they had that they would move around the island because they got, like, some tax loophole for having livestock, like, little things like that, nothing major, but so there's like people have their eyes on it, people know that's the island or whatever. So, but oh my gosh. Anybody who doesn't believe there's like I quit calling them elite. There's an upper echelon of people that do really crazy bad things. I don't see how you couldn't look real good at that island and like the blue and white building and like everything going on, like not click in your head. I just think that people can't compute. Have they done something with our attention spans that's made it so people can't grasp these concepts like the way that they used to be able to? Gerald, it is something that Orthodox, I want to say it's Orthodox. And no, it's not all Jewish people, but it's definitely what other religion circumcises their babies like that in our country? So I'm not trying to insult Jewish people as a whole, but that is something. You can look it up. I met a gal in eHarmony for years. Her kid would tell people his mom got her BF on eBay. That is so funny, giant midget. So do you call them knickers or pants? Pants. I don't think anybody calls them knickers here. Maybe some people do. But I remember my grandma saying that. Sings, I just landed here 20 minutes ago, just trolling the YouTuber life. I heard somebody say tennis shoes instead of tennis shoes. That drove me nuts. Tennis shoes. I was like, "Have you ever heard tennis shoes?" to my husband, and he's like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "I've never heard somebody say that. I can't stand it." "Yeah, I'll send you $2 if you put your hair in a ponytail." "Oh, no, that's okay, Green Alex. I would put my hair up without $2. I don't have a hair thing." I can't believe I haven't had to pee this whole time, honestly. I was in Salem shame for using on dating chat rooms, so many have found marriages on there, but for some reason I was ridiculed. Yeah, LM, it's the way most people meet nowadays. See, for years we lied about meeting on. Did somebody super chat me? Oh, thank you so much. Speaking of crazy, put your hair in a ponytail. Thank you for the super chat. That's ridiculous. If anybody ridicules you now, just tell them it's the way most people meet because it's the truth. We didn't tell people the way we met because my husband and my sister happened to go to the same college, so we would tell people that's how we met for years, like 10 years, even longer than that. And we just recently, like in the last few years, told people and like we would lie to people about it because it was embarrassing. It's so funny how it used to be taboo. It's not anymore. Why wouldn't you buy an island if you could? Oh, I would totally buy an island, Gerald. I'm talking about that particular island where horrible things happened, especially to children. If you didn't care about grown women, like at least care about the children. You know what I mean? I don't mean that towards you, but I'm saying I wouldn't want to buy that. Like I wouldn't want to buy the Chris Watts murder house, you know? I'd rather buy a nice big house that's not that big house. I'm in the mood for some crab rangoon and shrimp fried rice. That sounds so good, RC. I always get crab rangoon. Are you a stalker? Jessica, I don't know why you can't respond to people in the chat. Someplace over in Africa, long before YouTube, when little girls hit puberty, the women in the tribe would circle her and pull out the girl's hair. Yeah, there's some diamond. Yeah, there's a lot of rites of passages that are so crazy. And then there's women that have made communities that are women only to escape the female genital mutilation stuff going on there in some tribes. And they have a few really good, successful communities. I know somebody's going to be like, oh, but it's true. They start schools and they educate neighboring tribes' children. They allow children and men to come visit, but only women and girls can live there because that's what they have to do to stay safe. Mr. Carey, the what fan? No, bro. I'm original boss troll. I just know stuff and fix things. Well, you're a good troll, Travis. I like having you here. Yes, it's called short form creator content that has crippled attention spans. Yeah, giant midget, you're right. That's something. It's like people aren't connecting the dots. Like they're not able to sit there and think long enough to be like, okay, so there's proof. Like you want to think like Megan Kelly, oh, it's just teenagers that wanted it. You have no empathy at all. Okay. But then to see that there's clearly like 4, 5, 6 year old little kids and what could have possibly gone on? And I think that we haven't heard the worst of it. I think what we've heard is just like skimming the top. And people can't. Jessica, I can see your ditch comments. What does that mean, Travis? I think she means she's trying to like at people and she can't. I don't even know what a yenta is, but that's funny. Yes, but I thought you were able to respond to a specific person. Yeah, Jessica, I have never been able to do that. And I've seen other people do it and I've tried to do it myself in chats and I can't. So I know what you're talking about. When I'm in somebody else's live, I can't do that. And I'll like see other people do it. And I'll even type out their handle, like at Ford Mula 1 CD Burlock, and it won't work. French braids are very attractive. I just had my hair in French braids. Has anyone ever tried using Facebook's dating app? I tried it years ago when I had Facebook, but as soon as I made it, I deleted it. I have not. Has anybody in here tried Facebook dating? I think that seems, I don't know, maybe not. I would say that that's more legit than like Tinder. I can't seem to do that. Yeah, Jessica, I don't know what to tell you. I'm it's like technologically illiterate myself. Jeffrey was not green. You must be a troll. I can't say anything like for certain. I haven't seen literal proof, but I've seen him with children in his lap and a creepy grin on his face. And he had an obsession with massage and he had something about massaging infants. I don't even want to think about it. I can't think about it too hard. See, I'm like the opposite of the people that can't even like think and really wrap their minds around it. I think about it too much, and it's like, what? I can't. Like, I cry every day over people that are in horrible situations. I just do. Like, I have so much empathy. I think I kind of make up for some people, some soulless people that don't have any singing. I just am. I like to because I am good at history. I like facts and the common sense. Yes, I'm the best troll. Loved and hated. I'm muted and blocked the most online. Travis said it's my entertainment. Not all cultures are equal. Dirty Mike said. Yes, but I think that I know where you're saying that because I brought up Africa, right? And the cultures that seem to be advanced are also the ones that are literally destroying the planet and making it so we have microplastics in our bodies and so much trash in the ocean. There's die-offs, entire species. I got AIS in Africa 3 times, twice once. I don't know what that is. Some Muslims circumcise their women. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm love. I met that I met my husband was, oh my gosh, online. It just shows that sometimes we are in the right place. Yes, Jessica. I met my husband and we were both in Florida, but we're like from opposite ends of the country. There's different kinds of female genital mutilation. Some is like a lot more involved than others. But yeah, it's It's all horrible. I couldn't imagine. Long before YouTube, when I used to watch Oprah, there was some community that Oprah made where the babies and girls could go because they had a permanent urine trail behind them because they were. Yes, Diamond, that happens. There's like fistulas that form in the bladder, often from giving birth, especially when you're too young, when you're like not fully developed. And then they ostracize them. They like cast them out. They're like, "Ooh, you're gross because you leak urine all the time because you were forced into being a child bride and mother." And there's people that will like go in surgeons that will go volunteer to help that. But yeah, um, I just look at it like, once again, we're definitely at the end of a cycle. And at the beginning of the cycle, what we know of at least, like, I can't believe those little candles are still going. It perhaps, like, all the good, most advanced everything came from Africa. Actually, that is kind of what happened. I think it's funny when people, like, look at them still as savages. I've learned so much from being online and so much about how racist a lot of people are, and I'm not accusing anybody in here of being racist, but it's just like every time Africa gets brought up, usually it comes out. Found my current boyfriend on Facebook dating. He's a sweetheart. I don't know what I'm doing, Sims. That's cool. Good for you. Good luck with that. I don't think long distance relationships are feasible in the long run, Sebastian said. Yeah, I understand it. I think if that's like what the person has going on in their life at the moment and they're satisfied with it, that's cool. But especially if you're like older, trying to start a family and settle down, if there's no ability to get together in the near future. Hi, Rodney. How are you? It would be tough. It's okay. At least I can join the chat in general. Yes, Jessica, I'm glad you're here. Diamond said, even like people like Leonardo DiCaprio, he won't date a woman over the age of 25. That sends out all kinds of red flags to me why women that date him don't even respect themselves. Yes, Diamond. I used to be so obsessed with him. I had a Leonardo DiCaprio collage. I was obsessed. Like when the Titanic came out, I was so, it was, he was probably like my first real crush, you know? And it's so funny to me. I remember so much thinking like I was too young for Leonardo DiCaprio. Now it's funny, I never thought there'd be a point in my life where I'd be too old for Leonardo DiCaprio. Facebook suspended me, stupid First Amendment, stupid crap. Yeah, I haven't had a Facebook in years. I don't like how it forces you to use your real name now. I ride my bike without a seat, Chad said. I looked at Facebook dating before I met my husband and it was not for me. Aw. Diamond, he's famous and handsome objectively. That's why Sebastian said, yeah, but there's something I couldn't imagine living my whole life only being with people in their 20s, going into my 30s, 40s, 50s, and still just then like being those girls, like Diamond said, I agree with her. It's like, do you have no self-respect or you just belong for the ride? Like, no woman is built like that, honestly. Like, there's exceptions. Okay, there's always going to be exceptions. Most women aren't built like that. The vast majority of women don't want to just be some older rich man's plaything. And it might seem like the best option at the time, but it's not. And, like, at least these women will probably walk away the rest of their lives, better off for it if somebody as loaded as he is. My tiny painting. Isn't this the cutest tiny painting you've ever seen? That's like a real painting on canvas. And then I got this from the Peddler's Mall like a week ago. I thought it was so cute. It says saltwater heals everything. It was $2. And I thought that was cute because now I don't think salt water literally heals everything, but I do think it heals an awful lot and like um, minerals in the water. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he's a complete creep. It's official. And when people are like, yes, there's some guys that never are gonna want to settle down. Some people aren't marriage material. That's fine. But to be like the way he is, one of the funniest memes is like it's a picture twice of like this really young hot model with like this old decrepit gross guy. I'm sorry, it's true. He's just like 88 years old and he's got a pot belly and he's gross. And it's like, father, show this picture to your son why they should stay in college. It's like, father, show this picture to your daughters of why they should stay in college. I always thought that was so great. And TikTok kicked the table leg for good. First Amendment is a thing of the past. Yeah, I got off TikTok when I made fun of, like, child-free people having dogs, and nothing really happened. I was just like, "Okay." Mary was 14 when she had Jesus, Asa said. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being child-free at all. No, it's the child-free people that, like, think there's something wrong with having kids and then treat their dog like a kid that I just think is cute and funny. I'm doing good, Mr. King. How are you? I'm thinking about ordering Taco Bell. It will be accounting plunge for that. Chad. I love Mexican pizzas. Bye, signings. I hope you have a good night. Jessica, how are you doing? Travis asked. Jean, just like there are good. Ooh, I'm gonna leave me hanging, Jean. Even if he's famous and rich, there's no self-respect for the woman at all. They know as soon as they age up, he's going to get rid of them. And why is that normal for a person to be all out publicly? Like, they're, yeah. Um, no, I totally agree with Diamond. It would be so weird to be with somebody knowing that you have an expiration date on yourself. There's a lot of people I've talked to on YouTube Lives that are in Africa. Hard to see them as savage considering what I've seen, Sebastian said. Yeah, Sebastian. I follow tons of Africans. They seem to have a really good work ethic compared to a lot of YouTubers, including myself. They put out content like every day, and yeah, you are so brave. I love you. They can never say trans women aren't women. Oh, I know who's been looking at sissy porn lately. No offense to anybody that's like into that stuff and doesn't troll. You do you. What's that orange shining thing behind you? I don't know what you're talking about. This thing? I'm not that famous, Travis said. You don't look a day under 65. Men like younger when they're emotionally stunted. Men, there are men out there. I just saw a man the other day who's 38 years old, who's grossed out by his 37-year-old friend who got a 17-year-old pregnant. And he said, I can't be friends with him anymore. That's disgusting. I have an 18-year-old daughter. He's like, am I wrong? Because, like, what the fuck? And, like, her mom was there, the 17-year-old's mom. This man was thinking the 17-year-old's mom was the guy's girlfriend because he just assumed. And he said, my girl's pregnant. And then the two women come home and he's like, he said he didn't even think the pregnant teen was who he was talking about. In his mind, he's like, oh, that older woman has to be pregnant too, because there's no way he was talking about that teenager girl. And then he's like, she called him daddy and it clicked in his head. He's like, wait, that's your baby mama? You got a 17-year-old pregnant? And he's like, it's so disgusting. And it's like, why is it like nice to see a man be a man? I'm sorry, that's just a man being a real man, in my opinion. Being like, "Oh, that's gross, they're kids." That's, like, disgusting. Oh, good night, Greg. I hope you have a good night if you're still in here. I'm glad I stopped by. Glad there's still people out here who think and feel out there. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, Jean. Thank you. You have a good night. Why does everyone care so much about trans people? What does that have to do with you in your life? Are you officially claiming that all humans are not created equal? Oh, I'm from Liverpool. People try to use it as an insult, like to me. And then, yeah, and then I feel bad because it's like, I don't want to insult trans people that aren't doing anything wrong by being like, I'm not trans. But, they're saying it as a dig because I'm a woman that doesn't have a little Cindy Lou who knows. And um, I don't have C cups and my boobs pushed out with cleavage showing. And even so, even if, there'd still be comments, but whenever I say that, it's like I think that people that use that as an insult, I think that they have a proclivity for trans people. I'm sorry, I do, because like normal functioning person doesn't, you like that old belly, the gray ghost. Diamond, this might sound bad, but I like my husband's belly. That's not old. This might sound bad, but to come to think of it, I wouldn't mind being the younger woman in a relationship, even if a man's using me because of my youth. And no, I don't mean all about the money either. Diamond, no. Yeah, there is some truth to like the sexual marketplace. I don't love talking in terms of that, but I mean, there's truth to it, right? You have to know this is what I have to offer, and what do I desire? And like, if you're honest with the person you're talking to, like, hey, I'm the young woman, that spiciness you want in your life. Yeah, Mexicans are okay, the Greco said. Biblical doesn't have a view on age gaps. Oh, that's interesting, Diamond. I never thought about that. I don't understand that concept. I don't have kids, but I sure as heck don't consider my cats to be my literal children. Big difference between human children and pets. Sebastian, well, once I lost my dog, like, They are members of the family, but at the same time, I wouldn't compare them to a literal child either, no. But it's just funny to me when it's lost upon people why if somebody might desire having children, and they're, like, literally treating their dog like a literal child, dressing them in outfits and taking them out every day, and, like, it's like, you're literally taking care of another life, and, like, you're doing what you say it's selfish for parents to do, which I understand the concept of deciding to have a child is selfish, yeah, I get that, but, like, actually being a parent is not selfish. I never had Facebook or any other social media. That's cool, Ford. The religions didn't know engines exist, so their gods didn't know it was. I don't know what you mean by the very end of that. Um, but yeah, I think that like not all of them, but a lot of Indians were violent and fighting with each other. Like warring over territories. Not all, but a lot of them. This guy Coop, okay, I should go soon. Coop, Coop. I started to talk about him earlier and then I trailed off. Great YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, he had the best deep dives on Pizzagate. He had the best deep dives on Erica Kirk. He's where I learned that Erica Kirk is supposedly related to the Rothschilds. And like, oh my gosh, just it's so bizarre how much military connection she has. Who was a 17-year-old starts a nonprofit? Okay, that's probable, but I mean, it's possible. It's not probable. And she's like on like these like jets and shit. Like she has connections, but because of her parents, to the military. I used to think that was crazy when I was younger. People thought as their animals as children, but now I'm older. I have pets. Yes, it's very similar, even if animals do not have souls. Yes, Diamond. I totally believe. I think they do have souls. I just think they're. Oh my gosh, I have mixed feelings about that. But that's another reason why I don't jive with the Bible completely. Dogs are easy to take care of. I love my daughter, but I also love my dog. You don't believe animals have souls? Jessica said, yeah, I know that that's a biblical thing. I've heard some Christians don't believe in that. I don't know if that's why Diamond said that, or if that's what Diamond believes. Use it as an insult to you. What the fuck are you talking about? Scooter Scooper said. The gray goes, it's okay. You're trans. We get it. Okay, the gray goes. Jessica, I love doggies. I miss my teacup Pomeranian, 5.5 pounds of killer. Oh, Travis. We had a family dog that was supposed to be half poodle, half Pomeranian. He wasn't because he was way too big. He was definitely part poodle though, because he didn't shed. You could just tell. And like we picked him up from the breeders. And anyways, my mom thinks he knows what he was half of. Why did I bring that up? He was the best little dog. But yeah, it's hard when you lose them and you really realize that they are a part of the family. Absolutely. Um, I agree. No, I don't believe animals have souls. Yes, there'll be animals in heaven. Oh, thank you, my vision. But yeah, Coop. Hi, Stacy. Coop is a YouTube channel. If you're like into any of my content at all, I bet you would be into his channel. He really does do a great job. He did a video on Anne Hesh. Remember that actress Anne Hesh who crashed her car? And then when she was on the stretcher, she sat up all suddenly. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That was so freaking weird. And it's like the firefighters and their yellow suits putting the stretcher in the ambulance was all so weird. Um, do you think women should be able to work and vote? Yes, I'm from Liverpool. I definitely think that women should be able to work and vote. No, I'm not trans. There's nothing wrong with being trans, but I am not trans. Imagine getting landed on by a cat, then drug up said tree to get eaten. Come on. But oh gosh, Travis, yes. Cats are the most successful predator. I saw this video, it was so great, where this guy's like, "Why do people say it's, like, a girly thing to like cats? They're like freaking predators." They can leap up on top of a fridge. They have scary accuracy, like, what isn't manly and cool about that? It was funny. I'm sorry, I just dropped in the chat, so I don't have full context. Oh, it's cool, I'm from Liverpool. It's just funny that you said that because I talk about how I think women should be able to vote. In biblical times, they wanted people to get married only or early on it around age of 14, but we frown on that today's society for all kinds of reasons. But no, I don't agree with the biblical age. Right. Um, I'm gonna say, like some historian said, like historically, people were, I think since like I might be wrong, it was since like the medieval ages, like 19 was like the average age of having a first child, but like, or maybe it was like since the 1800s. I'm probably wrong about that. I just think you should love my neighbors. Yes, I'm from Liverpool. My heart is full of love and I belong to God. That's so nice, Becky. Standards, I feel we're in a different time period. I feel bad for saying that though, because that is biblical. Yeah, Diamond. No, definitely. Um, it's not biblical, it's historical, Jessica said. I'm from Liverpool. Jesus took care of the poor and said there is no place in heaven for wealthy people, right? What is the passage? It would be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to get into heaven. No, I'm not, Jessica. That's just trolls trying to troll me. Yeah, I don't think it's anyone's business either. That's why it's like I don't want to talk about it and make anybody that is trans feel bad, but they know they're trolling. Not my words. There's a book we can read for reference. I'm from Liverpool. You know, about the Bible. Edward. I'm not a superior white goddess either. Oh, some of the comments made me think it was a possibility, even though it didn't seem like, oh, it's okay, Jessica. You're fine. Yeah, I talked about Epstein at the beginning of my live. I don't know if you're interested, Ford, but I had like 3 pages of notes. There's basically what stands out to me the most is how Ghislaine is the only person in prison. And honestly, guys, I didn't look into it that much until the last few days. And it's like I've been doing nothing but listening to people who came out. The future is female, say Aspen said. Well, it's because back then people died mid-30s, bro. 15 was middle age. Yeah, that is true, Stephen. No, Kevin, I don't need anybody fresh. Jessica, most normal people don't care about trans, no trans, gay, no gay. Only some give a shit. Are you okay, Jessica? What's up? Travis, stop it. Jessica's being sweet. She just said that she thought it was cool, and then she said, "Oh, okay, I didn't." Early people died at 30. They had to start sooner. That's not the case today. Yes, it's meant to tell you that people with money have more distractions, not necessarily that they can't go to heaven, Teddy Trayson. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. More distractions, or they really do end up corrupted and doing evil shit. And if not doing it, they look the other way when other people do it, clearly, you know? I'm talking about Epstein. And think about all the people, like, really think about it. Like, Naomi Campbell, she was like very much involved in this, in my opinion. Obviously, one of the people, in my opinion, that probably was like getting in models, and like it just goes on and on. Somebody was bringing up how P. Diddy wasn't he really close with Clive Davis? And you think about Clive Davis having that party with Whitney Houston's dead body and upstairs. That is so crazy to me. And people feed off of crazy energy, and it's like they like, we are meant to work hard, and I've thought this, if I ended up with somebody that just like if I was a kept woman, would I have ever learned to garden the way that I do? Like, I don't think so, you know? Maybe I would have, but I just don't think I would be the same woman if I was like a kept woman. Both my grandmas married at 13, they just did, Ford said. Aw. Exactly, Martin. People croaked hella early, 13 and 15 was middle age. You guys would be surprised if you could make it past childhood. I know you guys are talking about way, way back. But there's been a lot of longevity, longer than people think. Like, if you made it past childhood, it was like, like if you go to a cemetery, you'll see there's like tons of like babies and kids. It's so sad. But then there's also lots of people that lived to their 80s too. Yes, the lifespan was so incredibly short due to lack of healthcare, antibiotics, clean water. People didn't survive past a certain point typically. And a lot of it was like, the bad water, bad food in the summertime, people didn't know about, like, food spoilage, and children were more prone to that, it's so sad. And then the medicine they give. If a baby would get sick and they give them medicine with, like, cocaine in it and stuff. You know what? I appreciate the chat and you being welcoming. Thank you all. We are all struggling and just want to be happy. Let's help each other. Yes, I'm from Liverpool. I completely agree. Everybody is welcome here. Everybody that's nice. I don't care what you think about anything. If you agree with me, you don't agree with me at all. I listen to tons of people I don't agree with because I just like hearing, even if I don't believe in what they say, I like hearing different perspectives, you know? The idea of 13 to 15-year-old being middle aged sounds insane in current times. Yeah, Sebastian, it is. Eye of the camel, but that's not literal. Used to be there, huge passage with small side doors. These doors were called the needle, so it's not impossible. It just means it makes it. Oh, Diamond, I'm glad that you said that. See, I didn't know that it stood for something. Sebastian, yes, back then life was much harder, Travis said. Stephen, yes, nowadays it is, and it's wrong because we live so much longer and people grow up slower. It's morally wrong now. Yes, Jessica, no, I'm great. I was just confused by some of the comments before, and I'm the least judgmental person. I love everyone. Yes, Jessica, me too. That's how I feel. Well, like, once again, except for like the evil, mean people that hurt kids, I don't like people that, and it's a lot of us have been through trauma when we were kids, and that's I just feel very strongly that like if we can help kids not go through that, we should. Hi, Mr. Handsome, how are you? But people want to criticize our food and systems now, but we live so much longer. Look at the Japanese. Well, Stephen, I our life expectancy is like going back down, right? Wasn't it like recently? And they blame it on overdoses, which I do understand plays into it. But let's be real. I think that we're looking at like, things are getting worse in a lot of regards. And the Japanese, they do eat a lot better. They eat a lot better than Americans, at least. Diamond, you're beautiful, Jonathan said. You'd have the time to garden all you wanted. Yeah, Jessica. That's what I'm saying. I think maybe I wouldn't be gardening, I'd be like out shopping and I wouldn't have developed this skill that's given me so much confidence and joy. Cocaine is for amputations way back in the old days, the weeping cocoa leaf. Yes, Danny. Jonathan, any man would be lucky to have you, Diamond. Teddy, the coca plant is a really good medicinal plant. It is when it's manufactured, then it becomes addiction. You can thank Oxford for that. Yes, Teddy. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of good medicine. Um, And heroin crazy, Jessica, yeah, and so it's like one day cough syrup, it's like, yeah, one day. And I swear it had like methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine, marijuana. Oh, don't make me blush. I don't get that much, Diamond said to Jonathan. Don't let propaganda separate you. I'm from Liverpool. So, yeah, I'm trying. And then I feel like, when I give my opinions, and I'm doing the same thing, but like it is what it is. A small YouTube channel, I can only reach so many people. Japanese people tend to have a healthier diet as opposed to people in the Western world, which contributes to their longevity, Sebastian said. Yes, definitely. My Coke didn't have Coke in it. Travis said, we are all patriots and want to help our community. Yes, I'm from Liverpool. When Coca-Cola first came out, they put cocaine in it. Yes, Danny. We don't live longer than the people before us. Yeah, isn't it like the first, aren't we like the first generations to do this? More people just died back in percentage was they lived longer. Most of them lived to be 90. Right, that's what I was saying, Teddy. There was actually a lot of longevity sooner than people think. It's just like very hard to get past childhood. More so than it is now. That's just like alcohol is for when you're sick physically because it's a natural blood thinner. Oh, yeah, Danny. And I know they were no, I don't think I've had a promethazine pill. I don't think so, Daniel. What is that? Did Eminem rap about that? Both of you beautiful ladies are queens and should be reminded of that. That's so nice, Jonathan. Thank you. Have you ever watched a series on Netflix about the blue zones? I watched a couple episodes. They're very interesting. I need to watch it sometime. Diamond said, watch it all. Yes, I've seen. I haven't seen that, and I know that anytime it gets brought up, it's always like diet and social. Like people that live to be like 100 and longer, they all have like a good social net, And that's something I feel like they've done on purpose. Like they want us to be estranged from our families. I don't talk to my parents, so I'm not going to shame anybody for that, but like they want us to be like estranged from each other and to like think the worst of each other if we don't think exactly alike. 'Cause they know we're going to die. I saw this lady say it. Her name is escaping me. She's British, she's Indian, it's on the tip of my tongue. She was so funny, and it was like she's just like, "We just need to remember, like, we're all gonna die one day." And, like, it really helps you not care as much about the things you shouldn't care as much about. I understand if you haven't come to terms with that, it might not be something you want to remember. All good, nothing but love. All of your neighbors love to all. Oh, I'm from Liverpool, love you too. Diamond, I have not watched it before. What's it about? Sebastian said. Aiden, I do also agree that now children are getting more exposed to alcohol. Certain countries, especially where I live in Quebec, the drinking age plans to be 15. I don't know if this is true, Aiden, but I have heard that it can cause brain damage if you drink alcohol before your brain is fully formed. And this person, I forget who it was, specifically said 16. Like, what might not cause brain damage to me at 38 years old if I drank that much, like drinking enough to like, it's too much. You're sick the next day, but it can cause literal brain damage in teenagers. So that is horrible. Court said I can't drink, Travis said. Yeah, life expectancy dramatically rose, Stephen said. Um, Promethazine is an anti-nausea pill. Oh, I think I have had that before. It's just we've had a lot of God, I can't remember anything. I'm getting sleepy. A lot of this anti-nausea pill is described to me. One of my sons was diagnosed with cyclical vomiting syndrome. It was freaking horrible. He outgrew it, thank God. It's exactly what it sounds like. They just throw up for hours to the point where you have to take him to the hospital to get an IV. And gosh, thank God he outgrew that. I guess some kids it's so bad they have to put them in a medically induced coma. They don't know the cause. They don't like another new syndrome. They don't know why. And anyways, I hadn't talked to my parents till recently for over a year because I had to. It sucks living next to them. Oh, I'm so sorry, Diamond. That would really suck. Winston Churchill lived to he was 90. Jose, and he smoked and drank all the goddamn time. Yeah, some people, it's just their constitution. Some people won't ever get a cavity. I think my husband's like that. I don't know for sure. He's never had a cavity in his whole life. Like, yeah, he brushes his teeth, but it's like I'm like always like floss your teeth, and like it's like I don't know, like every time I go to not every time. Oh, I think my earbuds are about to die. I need to go because I'm like getting sleepy and your brain literally shrinks when you drink a lot. Yes, Dennis Rodman, perfect example of brain lesions. That's so sad. Messed up before the drugs. Stephen said Dennis Rodman was messed up. I didn't start drinking till about 1920. Sebastian said, yeah, I didn't, well, I guess I drank sangria when I was a teenager. I drank sangria a few times, got pretty buzzed. I'm not going to die. The earth is my gas station. I'm just here to fill up and go on to my destiny. Oh, Teddy, I like that. Yes, I like to think we don't die. Our energy that we are made of doesn't die. It's just our bodies. And my shared death experience helped me believe that. But I don't know for certain. I'm sorry, guys. I am going to go to sleep now, though. It was so much fun talking to you. Acid burner, I'm getting ready to go. You got back on right when I was getting ready to go. So we can't fight about Trump anymore. I am part Irish, Jose. I'm like 25, probably more like 40-ish% Irish. I'm probably more Irish than anything. You're right. Tooth enamel is genetic. Thank you, those lucky enough to have Neanderthal DNA for real, not hating. Oh no, yo, I always say that. It's like people that have beautiful white teeth their whole freaking lives without having to do much for it. I think that's so beautiful, but a lot of times it's not a white person. What's sad is around here, I know several people who let their children smoke and chew at 9 years. Oh my God, that's so sad, Diamond. That makes me so sad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my mom's there's a eh, there's a name in my family that starts with Mick. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I am very Irish. Sleep well and warm and kiss your hubby. He's gonna cuddle the hell out of you. Oh, we don't key to a good marriage. We don't sleep in the same room. He snores. One of these days, maybe I'll make him get a freaking one of those CPAPs so we can sleep in the same room together. But it also makes it special when we do, like, have to sleep in the same room because 'cause we're, like, in a hotel or something, it's, like, sweet. Yeah, we for years, anytime we do sleep, I end up getting mad at him, it's not worth getting mad at him, you know what I mean? And, like, people it's funny, people are like, "You don't have a good marriage if you don't sleep in the same bed." I'm not saying any of you said that, but it's just funny, you know? Like, "He be farting too, huh?" No, really, he's not that bad about that. I think everybody farts in their sleep sometimes, but no, it's not that. My dog, on the other hand, gosh, our girl dog, she has been so disgusting lately. They didn't have their food at Tractor Supply, so we got him a different kind of food because, like, we had to. And oh my gosh, I knew as soon as he came home with that food, I'm like, oh, great. It, my husband was like, I think we should take her to the vet. It's just stinky gas. We're not spending money on gas. Oh, it's so bad. We're a man, we won't listen to you. Yeah, Jose, that's what I'm saying. It took years. Real men drink and smoke. Oh, I thought you were talking about sleeping in the bed. I had to be like, you know what? I don't want to be mad at my husband. I don't want to wake up mad anymore. But I love you guys. It was so fun talking to you, Diamond. I don't want a man to sleep with me either. I want my bed to myself. You can hold me till I fall asleep, though. Yeah. It's nice having because I have 3 hernias. I fall asleep with the heating pad under my shoulders, and I have like 2 pillows by either side. Like, I don't think I could sleep in a bed with somebody. I love you all. It was so much fun hanging out with you. I promise I'm gonna get on a regular schedule in the new year. Love you. Good night.